nagrywamy. Tutaj nagrywamy. Tutaj też rozumiem. O, cześć wszystkim. Jesteśmy. Siema Kubuś, siemanko, fajnie, że się pokazałeś.
Siema.
Jeszcze widzę, że dołączają osoby. Andrew, I will do a short introducing, okay? And after that, I will give you the power of this meeting, okay?
That's a lot of responsibility, Chris. Yes.
Yeah. So I think we need 2-3 minutes for someone who didn't join yet. So let's give them a chance to join our meeting, okay? And after that we will start, okay?
Cool.
Dobrze. No, jak tam? Co tam u was słychać? Tak na szybciutko jeszcze podpytam. Cześć Martuś. Siemanko, siemanko. Ktoś już otwierał budyneczki?
No ja właśnie sobie ogarniam teraz, tylko wiecie co, muszę sobie chyba światło zmienić, ale właśnie wyselekcjonowałam sobie 3 na dzisiaj, bo nie będę szaleć, chociaż
Aha.
do lodówki daleko nie mam w razie czego.
Bo co?
Do lodówki daleko nie mam, ale wyselekcjonowałam sobie dzisiaj 3 i jeszcze ich nie otworzyłam. Nie wiem, to już można taki falstart robić?
Wiesz co, ja bym chyba poczekał na ten,
No właśnie, dobrze.
No, także
Gdzie
ten,
sobie zmienię
także, wiesz co, ale to co myślisz, że jeszcze 6 drinków ciebie ten zniszczy? Ej, nie sądzę.
To był bardzo intensywny grudzień, wiesz?
Okej, niech będzie. Okej. No dobra, 5 po, myślę, że możemy zacząć. Kto miał dojść, to dojdzie. Miałem parę wiadomości, dostałem, że ktoś nie zdąży, że ktoś nie da rady, że ktoś musi gdzieś tam z kimś pójść, więc obejrzę sobie to w późniejszym terminie. Słuchajcie, parę słów. Część z was już to wie, jak poznałem projekt ShakaCan. Wiecie, a poczekajcie, jeszcze muzyczkę chyba. Powiedzcie mi, jak ja mówię, a muzyczka leci w tle, to ona przeszkadza, ta muzyka?
Nie wiem jak to przy nagrywaniu, ale tak to jest git.
Jeszcze raz?
Nie wiem jak przy nagrywaniu, ale tak to jest git, jak gadasz.
No to wyjdzie w planie, zobaczymy. Najwyżej zrobimy drugą sesję.
No trudno.
No trudno, w przyszłości. Słuchajcie, większość z was wie o niedawno przeprowadzonym przeze mnie projekcie Daiquiri. Ja wcześniej Andrew Nicholsa nie znałem. Znaczy nie znałem w tym sensie, że kojarzyłem twarz, a nigdy nie miałem okazji z nim rozmawiać, więc jakby traktowałem sytuację tak, jakbym go zwyczajnie nie znał. Kiedy pod koniec ubiegłego roku, to był jakoś październik, zacząłem planować, czy listopad, zacząłem planować powtórzenie projektu, powtórzenie tego konkursu rumów do Daiquiri, no to zaczęło się wielkie zbieranie rumów, zaczęło się wielkie poszukiwania, wracanie troszeczkę wstecz pamięcią, które rumy w danym roku zrobiły na mnie największe wrażenie, a które w moim odczuciu bardzo dobrze pasowały do Daiquiri. No to generalnie zaczęło się to nakręcać i z ludźmi z branży zacząłem o tym rozmawiać gdzieś tam kuluarowo. Jedno z miejsc, w którym podzieliłem się taką informacją, to były targi Prowine w Düsseldorfie. No i tam osoba, z którą wtedy rozmawiałem, zapytała, dlaczego tyle wspaniałych rumów, a nie ma rumu William George. Ja tego rumu nie znałem, nawet chyba nigdzie mi się nie napatoczył jakoś w oko. No i stwierdziłem, no dobra, to wychwycimy próbkę, zobaczymy, co z tego będzie. Jak ja tą próbkę otworzyłem, to zwariowałem natychmiast. Dlatego stwierdziłem, że jest jeszcze czas na to, to było dla luty, tego pamiętam, że jest jeszcze czas na to, aby dokonać zmian. W zasadzie na ostatnim chwili była to jedyna pozycja, którą zmieniałem w tym całym zestawieniu. I jak pewnie wiecie, room ten uzyskał 5. miejsce ze wszystkich 50, cześć Petruś, ze wszystkich 50 roomów, które testowaliśmy. No w zasadzie te oceny, które brałem pod uwagę, były ocenami ze ślepych testów, więc 5. miejsce na 50, wygrywając naprawdę z bardzo dobrymi pozycjami, to był już naprawdę wyczyn. No więc jak Andrew Nichols dowiedział się, że jest taka sytuacja, ja musiałem go poinformować, bo przecież zapraszałem go wtedy na tę degustację, tą finałową, to w podziękowaniu tydzień później otrzymałem paczuszkę, o której nie miałem wcześniej pojęcia, i ta paczuszka zawierała 4 puszeczki, 2 Mai Tai i 2 daiquiri, no i taki kapturek, z którym nie bardzo wiedziałem, co zrobić. I gdyby nie to, że na tym kartoniku, z tym kapturkiem pod spodem jest instrukcja, w sensie są obrazki, ja bym nigdy na to nie wpadł, jak ja mam to ze sobą połączyć. Więc jak zrobiłem sobie, wyszyfrowałem, sprawdziłem na stronie, jak to wygląda, no to zwariowałem natychmiast. I to był ten moment, w którym pomyślałem sobie, kurczę, fajnie by było zrobić z tego degustację, ale zanim odezwałem się do Andrew, to zależało mi, żeby się z nim spotkać. Więc pojechaliśmy w tym roku do IJmuiden, na festiwal rumu, whisky i rumu w Holandii. I tam już osobiście porozmawiałem z Andrew, który wyraził zainteresowanie i wielką radość na to, że możemy zrobić taką degustację online. Potem była tylko kwestia dobrania szczegółów, wysyłek, no całej logistyki, żeby to się nam udało zrobić. I tak oto spotykamy się dzisiaj. Ja już miałem okazję przetestować te koktajle trzykrotnie w zasadzie. Mam swoich ulubieńców, natomiast, co jest oczywiście naturalne, natomiast jest to 6 różnych koktajli i dzisiaj przez mnie sobie prowadzeni przez Andrew przelecimy. Okay? Także zaczynamy. Ja jeszcze szybka instrukcja dla tych, co może nie doczytali, nie mieli okazję. Puszeczka, czekajcie, nie wiem, czy widzicie, tak? Puszeczka otwiera się tak jak, nie wiem, puszeczka dla kotów, tam, nie wiem, orzeszki, otwiera się całość, wrzuca się tam kostki lodu, chyba się ten kapturek i się nim zakręca, to musi tam zaskoczyć ładnie, żeby to rzeczywiście nam nie wystrzeliło. No i potem sobie mieszamy ten koktajl. No i jak już wymieszamy, to ten taki mierdzewki, który jest na wierzchu, jego się ściąga. Widać. I tu jest wszystko i już można nalewać do kieliszka. Tak więc szybka instrukcja obsługi. Jak ktoś nie wie, to śmiało pytać, to czekamy. A tymczasem ja przekazuję lejce do Andrew. Andrew, this is your turn. Tell us everything about what I asked you before. Your life. What did you do? How did you do that? About your rum, very nice rum. This project, ShakaCan, everything you need to know to buy more cans. Who knows? Okay, let's start it.
That'd be awesome. Like, how do you want me to do this? Do you want me to talk for a bit? Because I imagine, like, do you need to translate into Polish sometimes, or?
You know what? Usually we do all main part of the meeting in English language. Yeah.
Okay.
And after that, if anyone want to know something or ask about something, do that or in our chat or my personal private message, and after that I translate and ask you about that. So
Perfect.
we can do that. Just flow.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. So,
Yeah.
guys, first of all, thanks so much for taking part in this. It's really awesome to be sitting in Amsterdam and speaking to a group of people in Poland about ShakaCan and William George. I think that's amazing. Chris, thanks a lot for putting this together. Amazing. Thank you, man. So as Chris said a little bit about myself, I was born in Zimbabwe. I grew up in South Africa. And then in the year 2000, I started bartending, and I have kept bartending ever since, really. So I was a full-time cocktail bartender for 20 years, fell in love with it, and I got to open up some award-winning bars. I won a lot of cocktail competitions myself. So I was first in the Netherlands 6 times and top 10 in the world a few times, second in the world on one occasion. And so I was really, and the bars I was running got a lot of awards as well, both in the Netherlands and globally. So bartending was very much who I was as a person. And while I was bartending, I fell in love with rum. Okay, like rum was just phenomenal to me, and like the products itself, the diversity of rum, the people in rum. It's just an incredible category, and the drinks you can make as a bartender is amazing as well. So after a while, I decided I was going to release my own rum, and I did that together with my brother, and we launched William George. All right, so that's named after my grandfathers. My mother's father was William, and my father's father was George. So it's named after them, and I wanted the rum to be something that was going to change people's perception of what white rum is. Okay, like most people, when they think of white rum, they think of something very neutral, very light. You mix it with cola and that's it. All right, so I wanted to do something that was the opposite of that. I wanted to really put some flavor in there and get people kind of experiencing the side of rum that exists in the Caribbean as well. Okay, so there's this lovely flavor behind white rum in the Caribbean. Don't forget, if you want to have great aged rum, you have to start with amazing unaged rum. Okay, so what comes off the still, if that is shit, a barrel isn't gonna fix it. Okay, like it's got to be good from the word go. So that was like where we wanted to go, just change that perception. And things were going really well, like we were doing great. And then COVID happened. And because we were selling most of our rum in bars, all the bars got shut down and our sales fell by 99%. So my brother and I were sitting there going like, oh shit, what do we do now? And then we thought, well, let's start putting drinks into cans and at least we can sell our rum that way. And then after a while, my brother sent me a photograph where he said, have a look at these can tops. And you could take the whole inside of the can out. And we're like, shit, if you can take the whole inside of the can out, it means you can put ice inside the can. And that means if you have something to go on top, you can turn the can into a cocktail shaker. So that's exactly what we started doing. So our whole COVID project was about designing this. And it's, sorry, is the background a bit distracting? Maybe I should take it off. Wait, let me take the background off. And then you can all see how little dishwashing I've done in the last day.
Is this your kitchen?
In the background, yeah. Here, wait, let me click on this. Virtual backgrounds done. There we go, lovely. Okay, got it. So we decided to make this, and it was really difficult to put together, to be honest, because if you're going to be shaking, you can't have something that's going to leak all the time. And so putting the inside of this together, that little silicone bit on the inside there, that was the most difficult part to get right. So basically, it was something that was born out of, in COVID, we needed to diversify from just our rum. We need something that a bar could sell as a takeaway, or this could be sold in a supermarket, because a lot of liquor stores around the world were closed and it was just supermarkets that were open. So we had to kind of diversify. And so ShakaCan is exactly what came out of that. And as a bartender who for 20 years, it was suddenly an amazing opportunity to take that knowledge of drinks and apply it into a totally new format. And I think as a bartender, you always try to, you stick to what you know, you stick to how you put drinks together. This is science, okay? Like putting this together is super, super difficult. And we're the first people in the world to only put 110 milliliters of cocktail in a 330 milliliter can. If you know of any other companies that have done it, by all means, let me know. But we're the first people to do it because we're the first, we invented and patented this. And this is what makes this possible. So, Chris, should I just get on and start making a drink?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah? All right, okay. I don't know who that lady is, but she just went like, for God's sakes, man, stop talking. So,
Which one we should start? And I have to ask you about the turn. Which one will be the next one and the next and the last one tonight?
yeah, so I think let's start off with the daiquiri.
Oh, of course.
So the daiquiri, like everyone loves the daiquiri. With our daiquiri, so the rum that we have in here is actually the William George rum for the daiquiri, but we haven't gone with fresh lime juice anymore. And the whole reason is because when we started doing these, we used fresh lime juice and we clarified it so it was just clear. And that is great for about 3 months. And then it starts to change color. It starts to change flavor profile. It starts to, so I sat down with some people that do ultra filtered lime juice and they gave me a taste of their product. And I said, everything that you associate with the flavor of lime has been stripped out of this lime juice. So what I decided to do instead was use natural acids. So the acids that naturally occur in limes is what I blend together to recreate that acidity, that profile of lime juice. So all of them are derived from fermentation. So if you think about it, beer is fermented, okay? It's a natural product. With this, to get the acids out of fermentation, it's a bacterial fermentation that's done, and then they extract the acids out of there. So it's all completely natural, but it's also stable. And we've learned that that's very important. So all you got to do is just open up your daiquiri and you see the whole lid comes out. It's super easy. Now, obviously, when I'm in a bar, I use an ice scoop for making my drinks, all right? I never touch ice with my hand. But when I'm at home, I'm not behind the bar, so I like to be rebellious. So I'm just going to pick my ice up with my hand. And all you need to do is put maybe 3 cubes, depending on how big your ice is. Like I've got some decent size ice cubes. So I've got like 3 cubes that are going to go in there. Okay, so you can see I opened the can, I put my ice inside. Now I'm going to take my top, put it on top here, and you don't need to hit it down. You just put it on top, and then this black ring, you twist it to the right. And now we've got a cocktail shaker. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is shake it to hell. Okay, shake it to buggery. Same way I would on a cocktail bar. All right, so just shake it really hard for like 8 seconds, somewhere around there. You'll feel the can get super cold. There we go. So my can is now super, super cold. So I've got my glass here. All I'm going to do is take the metal cap off. And because there's a strainer built inside, I'm now just going to pour it into my glass. Now, if you want to garnish a daiquiri, by all means, garnish it. But me personally, sorry? Oh, I thought somebody said something, sorry. Like, here's a lime. You can cut a lime wedge. You can put some lime zest on it. You can do whatever you like. Me personally, I don't think a daiquiri normally needs a garnish, but just in case somebody is here, likes a garnish, I will cut one. I'll just do a nice little lime wedge that I'll put on the side of the glass, because sometimes people like to look fancy, you know? It's like me. If every now and again I put a suit on, I'm trying to look fancy, even though I'm not fancy. So I'll just do that and then plop our lime on the edge over there. And now you've also got that aroma of the lime as well. So it's pretty cool. But then, so here's for that first drink. How do you say cheers in Polish again? I've forgotten.
You mean na zdrowie?
Na zdrowie, yes, na zdrowie.
I should have known. Na zdrowie.
Ale tu ktoś oszukuje, bo widziałem, dziewczyny sobie polały, a nie było widać, jak szejkują.
Ty się
What was
nie,
that, sorry?
Piotruś, ty się tutaj nie wtrącaj. Każdy pije jak może.
To widziałam, jak wy szejkujecie, więc szejkujcie na drugi raz do kamery, a nie pod kamerą, bo to dziwnie wygląda.
Marta, spoko, nie ma problemu. Pokażemy, kto co umiemy.
Joe, Marta said that we should shake to the camera, not under the table, because this looks strange.
I like that. I like that. You're a very wise person. All right, but let's keep our drinks above the table as well. Jeepers, that's going to look even worse. All right. Oh, there's Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hi, snuck in late. Was trying to find some stuff for my deck, but yeah, it's nice to see you all.
Good to see you too.
Joe.
But yeah, so there's the daiquiri. What does everyone think of that, by the way? And be brutal. If you don't like it, you can say so. If you do like it, great. But yeah, by all means, if be honest, if you don't like it, would love to hear the feedback.
Can start off because I don't actually have it with me. Mine's still en route, so I'm super excited to try them all when they do arrive. But you know that yours is my favorite for a DAC anyway. So I mean, even in Chris's comp, it was, I think, in my top 5. So it's going to be up there anyway. Woo!
Thank you so much, Joe. Really appreciate that. That's cool. But yeah, so with the daiquiri, and look, I want to make something clear as well. All right. So with myself, like I said, bartender 20 years. I'm not going to pretend that this is the same drink that you'd get from a really skilled bartender in one of the best bars in the world. That's not the point of this. So this is for if you're at home and you want something that's as close as you can get to a bar with as little effort as possible. That's what we're trying to get with this. So my goal, whenever I'm putting the drink recipes together for this, and I promise you it takes months to get them right, I'm always trying to get it as close to the real thing as possible, but also make sure that it's something that's going to be safe for you to drink in 1 year from now. So it's a very, very difficult process. Like I said, there's a lot of science involved in it, but hopefully it's something you enjoy, because I mean, I know I'm biased, but I think it's pretty delicious. I'll even go back for a third sip above the table. All right. So there's our daiquiri. Holy trinity of rum drinks. It's that rum, lime, sugar kind of, thing going on. And I figured now what we could maybe do is, are you guys ready to move on to the next drink, or are we looking for a bit of time out here? Bit of chillaxing time. What do you think, Chris?
Between drinks, you mean you ask about sometimes?
Oh no, I'm asking. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That we need between every drink.
Yeah, no, I'm asking if you want me to move on to the next drink already, or if we want to sit and chat and talk about the daiquiri a bit and see what.
This is your choice. This is your meeting. You know, you can do anything you want. So if you say now, okay, let's go to another drink, we'll do that. Remember, we are from Poland. We
I was
can.
going to say, I think Polish people are very similar to South African people, and that drinks don't last long. So I think we're on the same level here, which is great. I love that. All right, so what I'll do then is I reckon maybe what we should go to next is the grapefruit cosmopolitan. Okay, so the grapefruit cosmopolitan, I think a cosmopolitan is a very underrated drink, but it's a good little drink if you think about it. Like, a lot of people talk shit about a cosmopolitan, but I think if it's made well, if it's balanced well, it's a lovely drink. It's really refreshing. And what I've always found is I love a hint of grapefruit running through a cosmopolitan. Okay, so traditionally it's made with lemon vodka, a grapefruit cosmo, but I decided we're going to mix this up a bit, and we're going to chuck a bit of grapefruit in there instead of the lemon. So that's what we've done with this. It's our grapefruit cosmopolitan. So it's like a bit of a twist on the classic, but I think it works really well. We use an organic cranberry concentrate in this. So the quality of the cranberry juice that we use in this is very, very high. And then we had our own orange distillate made for this as well. So the original recipe for a cosmopolitan is citrus vodka, it's triple sec, it's lime juice, and it's cranberry juice. So we've got a grapefruit vodka that we make instead of, well, we add the grapefruit to it in the right proportion. We don't distill the vodka, but so we blend our own grapefruit vodka together, and then we have our acid blend that replicates lime juice, the same acid blend that goes into the daiquiri. We have our organic cranberry juice or cranberry concentrate, and then we have the orange distillate that we get from a local distillery as well. So everything in there again is a very natural product. I'm going to go ahead and open this. I love the sound, love it. And I'll chuck that in there. And then again, same thing, like super, super easy. All right, we're just going to grab a few cubes of ice. So I put 3 cubes of ice in there. I'll grab my top, put it on, twist it. As somebody in London in the drinks industry says, a guy called Nick Strangeway, he always says you got to shake to buggery. Okay, so I don't know what the Polish translation of that is, but basically it means you got to shake really hard. So once again, I'm just going to shake it really hard. And again, for about 8 seconds. There we are. So that's nice, very, very cold now. And here's the thing is, like, when you're shaking a cocktail, not only are you mixing it, not only are you aerating it, but you're also chilling it down to the right temperature. So with a lot of ready-to-drink cocktails, they tell you to put them in the fridge and then pour them out. That's never, ever, ever going to replicate the character you get from a shaken cocktail, okay? Ever. So I think it's really important as well, that whole thing of shaking the drink, like waking it up, bringing it down to temperature. And because the drink is shaken, it means that it doesn't have to be kept in the fridge. So you don't have to keep it in the fridge. Save the fridge for the salad, all right? Like, let's have a nice bit of healthy food in the fridge, and then we can have our treats outside of the fridge. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is I've just got a bit of grapefruit zest here, or a grapefruit. I'm going to cut a disc of grapefruit zest off, and then I'm just going to squeeze that over the top of the drink. And this is me just being the bartender. I can't resist it. All right, so fancy little twist. Give it a little rim on the top there. Chuck it in the top, and we are dancing. Okay, so this is a bit of home style grapefruit cosmopolitan. And I'm very proud of this drink actually, because it was very difficult to get all the little nuances right. So the little balance between the grapefruit and the orange, and then the right amount of acidity to where the cranberry should be tart. I hate it when I get a sweet daiquiri, sweet cosmopolitans. If a drink is meant to be sour and tart, then it should stay sour and tart. So this goes back to the whole thing of we're trying to make these drinks as close to what you would get on a bar as possible. And I honestly believe, again, I know I'm biased, but I think we kick a lot of bars' asses with this drink. So here we go, our grapefruit Cosmo. That's pretty delicious. I don't know. So what is there a consensus on this as well? Are there people going like, no, Andrew, that's shit? Or are people going like, yeah, Andrew, that's good? Hey, what's that?
That's really good.
How did you do that?
I don't know. What happened?
It tastes good.
No, I don't know such things. No.
Like, did somebody do that? I don't know. I've never been able, like, I don't know. I know how to turn a computer on, and that's it. Toasters and computers, I can do as much on both, I promise you. Just don't put the computer in the toaster. That's a bad idea. But yeah. And if you want any of these drinks in a rocks glass on ice, put it in a rocks glass on ice. That's fine. Very, very easy. So hopefully, like, it's, you know, that constant thing running through this is that each can is one serve, super easy to make, and all you need is the can, the ice, and the top. Maybe a glass, not essential, okay? Like, you can just like neck it, and I'll be cheering you all the way, okay? I want to try this again. Wait, hang on. Anyway, whoever did that last time, please keep doing it, because that was special. So yeah, grapefruit Cosmo. Rough idea, like is it good? I did it again. Okay. Is it good? Yeah, we got some thumbs up there as well. Did you guys see the fireworks again? I saw it again. That was great. Chris, is that you? Are you secretly setting fireworks off?
Yes, exactly. It's always me.
It's really good. But I have a question, Andrew.
Yes.
In your opinion and your philosophy of making those cans, is the ice essential?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So it's when you're on a bar and you're shaking drinks, nothing will replicate the sensation that a shaken drink with ice gives you. Okay, so you can put it in a freezer. You can, the only drinks you can get away with putting in a freezer are drinks like, let's say, maybe a martini, where you've added your dilution and you've put it in a freezer, and those ingredients have come together in the bottle. Okay, so you could pre-batch something like a martini, which is a stirred drink, and you could put that in the freezer. But when it comes to anything shaken, nothing will replicate shaking. So it's a really, really important part of the drink to me. And like with these drinks as well, you can measure this with a thermometer. These drinks go below 0. So when you shake it, if your fridge is at maybe, sorry, I went like this because that's where my fridge is right there. I don't expect your fridge to be right there too. Okay. So I just want to clear that up. But like, but if you put these in your fridge is somewhere between probably 4 and 7 degrees, depending on how cold you have your fridge. There is such a big difference between a drink that is at, say, -6 degrees and a drink that is at 4 to 7 degrees. And you can notice that if you try this drink again in about 30 minutes or 20 minutes even, you'll notice that it's slightly different. So yeah, this is a long answer to your question, but yes, the ice makes a difference. That was a great question though. I really like that. Thank you. Are there any other questions while we're here? No.
We have some bartenders tonight.
We're here in the chat.
In the chat, yes. So maybe this guy. One of these guys saw these ShakaCans month ago, maybe, and when he saw it first time, he told me, "Get the fuck out here! I don't want to see it. I'm real bartender. No, don't do that, don't do that."
Yeah.
And finally, he decided to join our meeting.
The quotation was, "I fucking hate you." I fucking hate you.
Yeah, I know you hate me. I know.
It's good. What can I say? It's really good. Maybe the grapefruit cosmopolitan, it's too much grapefruit.
Okay.
Less cosmopolitan. But daiquiri is perfect in my opinion, and a little bit sweeter on the notes than I would make him myself. But that depends from the rum, of course. Yeah, I'm really surprised by the quality of the products that they came in just small can and full package.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's been so much effort to try and get it to where it's at. It's been crazy, to be honest. But like, it keeps me awake at night. So it's been really difficult, but yeah, 100%. So on the note with the daiquiri, I always make my daiquiri a little more sour than this as well. But what I have noticed is that my daiquiri, like with what we're trying to do with this, we're trying to get people that don't normally drink cocktails into cocktails. And so I've tried to find that balance where it's still slightly more sour, but so you still recognize it as a sour drink, but it's something where somebody who drinks sweeter drinks will appreciate it as well. So yeah, fully agree with that comment. The sweetness is nothing to do with the rum. We have 0 added sugar in our rum. It's literally just down to the amount of sugar that sugar and acid that we use in the drink. So it's, yeah, but I really appreciate those comments, man. Thank you so much, really. Right, I need to have another sip of this, and then we need to move on to the next drink. So everyone knows, right, the Cosmopolitan, made famous by Sex and the City. Dale DeGroff was the guy that revived this drink. So the legend from New York, Dale DeGroff from the Rainbow Room in the 1950s, and then later on, I think it was in the 1980s that Dale DeGroff like uncovered this drink and started like, pushing it on. And he was the guy that did the flamed orange zest on top of the drink as well. So it was Dale at the Rainbow Room who added the flamed orange zest to the top of a regular Cosmopolitan. Now listen, we're not trying to be that fancy, okay? Like we understand this drink. You just shook it up in a can, you poured it out. So just chuck a bit of grapefruit zest on there. If you want to flame it, okay? But just make sure there's no open gas lines nearby, and otherwise have fun. So
exactly. Joe wanted to say
anyway,
something.
I think that this Cosmo is actually really good, and it's something between the classic Cosmo and there used to be a very popular drink back in the 90s, late 90s, Sex on the Beach. You probably remember that one. It's something in between, don't you think? Because it was also a little grapefruit and
I think you drank a lot better Sex on the Beaches than I did. That's because the ones I had were super sweet.
no.
Really, I should have been drinking in Poland. I should have left South Africa.
I was making them as well, so maybe that's why. But I was more focused on cranberry and the grapefruit than the sweet side of it, because I like things that are sour. I like the acidity in cocktails, so I was going through that direction. So
so that's super cool, and I think that's a great example of what we've tried to achieve with our drinks. Is with a lot of our drinks, people know the sickly sweet version, because they might have gone on a holiday somewhere, and the place they went on holiday is using like very sweet syrup mixes and stuff to get the flavor through, and that's how they know the drink. So your example there with the sex on the beach is perfect, because you took your ingredients and you took them seriously, and you try to respect the drink. And for us, I don't agree with a lot of people when they say that canned drinks are shit quality, because what you're saying then is that the can is the defining factor with the quality. The can is just a vessel, like a bottle is a vessel. What's inside that, now that's where the quality is made, or like what's the opposite of that? And I was going to say you make or break, but in this context it doesn't make sense. So, but that's where the quality is shines or doesn't shine. So yeah, I completely agree, and I am actually jealous that I didn't drink more Sex on the Beaches like you did. I might actually go out and buy a bottle of peach liqueur tomorrow, and
to be really good drink before the Cosmopolitan and everything else took over. But it used to be really great cocktail, and I absolutely love that. And so it's something between the classic Cosmo and the Sex on the Beach. So it's like mixing with 2 decades, basically.
Yeah, that's super cool. Actually, I like where we're going with this. I like this. I'm seeing a futuristic ShakaCan advertisements here, where we're gonna blend the best of the, what is it, 80s, 90s, and wherever we are now together.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe where we should go now.
Andrew, wait a second.
Yes.
Joe wanted to say something.
Sure.
Hi, it was you've kind of answered it already, I suppose. I was curious when we were talking about the daiquiri, how you landed on the kind of ratio and the specs that you've landed on. I guess it sounds like from what we're saying in here that we're all probably slightly more towards the more sour end of stuff, and I think we're all probably slightly further away from liking sweeter things. But bearing in mind kind of who you're trying to tap into, I guess you need to get that balance right of things that are approachable for the masses and things that are still kind of strike the balance for us guys who like cocktails. So I was curious kind of how you ended up with the mix that you went for.
So one of the things that I've really, in a way, battled with in this process is my background is really high-end bartending. Okay, so like I said, multi-award-winning kind of bartending, and I feel like a dick saying that, but it happened. And so I was the first person in the Netherlands to introduce a whole bunch of technical processes on bars, which bars do as standard now. And so for me, it's always been a case of what is the ultimate drink? How do I make? I spent 2.5 years working on a Bloody Mary. Okay, so to give you an idea of like how deep I go into this, I really go deep into it. And I come up with what I think is the perfect version of a drink. And then I sell it in a bar. But what you realize when you take on something like ShakaCan and you try to sell it to the general public is that the percentage of people that go into that type of bar is minuscule. And you have to learn, like I've had to learn, to put that ego aside and really, really focus on where's that balance. So if anything, the balance has changed from being pure sweet and sour to the balance between what I want and what I think the average consumer is going to want. And that's a very difficult place to play, because people are always going to have opinions. I think that the type of person that came into my bar, and like Joe, the type of person that you are, and I think a lot of people here, if you're going into those bars that are the top echelon of bars in the world, when you go into that bar, you're going to drink that daiquiri, a daiquiri of that level. When you're at home and you're with friends that aren't necessarily as experienced as you when it comes to tasting quality drinks, then it's a great way to introduce them to the type of drink that we're talking about. Because this daiquiri, to be completely honest, to me, it's not a sweet drink. It is still a sour drink, but it may not be as sour as I would like it as a daiquiri lover. Now, I think when all of us started off drinking daiquiris, did we start where we are now? And the answer to that, I'm pretty sure for most people, is no. So there's that thing where, like, I've had a few bartenders say to me, and certainly here in Amsterdam, they're like, Andrew, you're a bartender. You're now trying to get people to stop coming into our bars. And I'm like, no, actually the opposite. I'm trying to make sure that more people come into your bars. I'm trying to make sure that people, for a much, much lower price, can get a drink as close as possible to what they would get in a bar. Probably better than what they themselves will make at home if they're not experienced with making drinks. I want people to have that. I want this to be their benchmark so that they can buy this, they can have it at home, and they can go, oh, daiquiri, it's sour. It's not as sweet as I thought it was. And then they go into a bar and they get it with fresh lime juice and they're like, holy shit, next level. You know, so for me, it's not about, you know, trying to get people out of cocktail bars. For me, this is about trying to get people into cocktail bars. And it's about introducing people to drinks that they may potentially be too intimidated to try in a cocktail bar because of the price point.
I like that. That's really interesting. Yeah, I think it's a really nice way to kind of introduce people to better quality cocktails than you might otherwise find. So yeah, it's really interesting. Thank you.
And there's nothing intimidating about it. You know, like you're opening a can, you're chucking some ice in, you're putting a top on. But the cool thing is that you're still shaking. Okay, so it's like if you look at like Philip Duff, I don't know if you guys know Philip Duff or not, but he always gives me this example of there was a cake mix that came out in the States, I think in the 1950s. And this cake mix was all you have to do is add water. And people put this together and they baked a cake and people weren't that turned on by it. Like people just weren't buying it. So then what they did was they said, add water and an egg and beat it. And because people were now mixing an egg in there, they felt as though they were cooking. And with this, I think for the average person that doesn't know how to make a drink, it's the same thing. You are still shaking your drink. If you want your drink less diluted, shake it less. If you want it more diluted, shake it more. It gives you a bit of flexibility and a bit of ownership on the drink that you're having at home. So it's not just a case of pulling it out of a fridge or freezer and pouring it. You actually take part in the drink that you are serving to yourself and to your friends. So you still look cool shaking up a drink, but you're not going to cock it up.
I think that's a perfect balance, isn't it?
Exactly.
Cool.
Are there any other questions at this point, by the way? No. All right, let's keep drinking. It is a Friday after all. It is not a school night. So maybe we should move on to the Pegu Club cocktail. So this is a drink where I'm very proud of it, but at the same time, it's a drink that the public probably aren't ready for. So I don't know if you guys know the Pegu Club. I know the bartenders in the chat will know the Pegu, and I'm sure Joe probably knows the Pegu Club, but it's basically a gin-based drink. Think of it as a gin margarita with bitters. Okay, that's pretty much the drink. And it was created in what was called Burma, now called Myanmar, where the British had a naval club in the town of Pegu, just outside Rangoon. Okay, so it's not too far from Rangoon. And one of the bartenders in the Pegu Club put this drink together. And I think I'm right in saying it was in the 1920s that it was put together. But again, if there's any bartenders who want to correct me on that decade, then by all means go for it. But I think it was the 1920s that the Pegu Club cocktail was put together. So again, it's just a drink where you've got that gin running through it. You've got the orange from traditionally what was a triple sec, of course, that was used. You got the lime juice, and then you got the bitters. Okay, so there's that sweet, sour, junipery, aromatic kind of vibe running through the whole drink. So I'll just go ahead again and crack this this bad boy open. All right, so there we are. Oh, my eyes starting to. Sorry, I'll just do a bit of ice poking there. All right, so check in again, just and I do like, I don't know. I know I'm biased, but I think it's super cool that it doesn't matter which drink you're making; it's exactly the same process. Like, it's, to me, that's just super awesome. So I'll grab my glass over here, and then again, the top's going to go on, twist it into place, and again, give it a nice hard shake for about 8 seconds. And listen, guys, if there's any of you behind these like closed off screens who are doing this, that is a wobble. It is not a shake. Okay, like you have got to flex the guns. You have to apply some elbow grease, shake the buggery, and make sure that this drink gets super, super, super cold. Okay, so there I am, nice and cold. Cap off. So, Pegu Club cocktail, again, if you want to garnish it, the great garnish for a Pegu Club is a bit of lime zest. So, and here's another thing I think which is cool with this is you're still garnishing your drink. You're still taking your drink seriously. It's not just a case of opening a can and pouring it into a glass or whatever. Like, no, you're opening a can, but you're shaking it. You are then going to garnish your drink. So I'll just do that with a bit of lime. And again, if you don't want to garnish it, don't. Like, seriously, like, it's your drink. You're at home. You're using your fingers to grab your ice. Nobody cares, right? So it is your drink, and that little bit of lime zest over the top of the drink, though, I think it just helps wake it up a bit. So, and this is going back to that thing I said earlier about what most people use if they say they're using lime juice in this, they have to be using either a lime concentrate or a ultra filtered lime. Lime concentrate tastes like Rose's lime juice, so that's easy to pick up. And the ultra filtered lime juice tastes nothing like lime juice. Okay, it is just acid that's left over. So again, I don't see the point in using ultra filtered because I can be more consistent by using an acid blend. And with the concentrate lime juice, it just tastes like cooked lime. Okay, so it doesn't give you that fresh lime flavor either. So if I just, with the acid blend we have in here, with a bit of lime zest over the top, I'm telling you now, in a blind tasting, people wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So I'm going to sink my chops into this one.
You could tell me, Andrew, that I should send people some lime.
Right, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, no, I should have done that. I am sorry, humans. It is my fault. Like I said, I'm South African. Everyone
It's your fault.
We're great at rugby, but useless at everything else. It's no, we're great at rugby and cooking on fire. Useless at everything else. That's
You're also
So
good at darts, so you know.
Sorry?
Darts as well. Are you
good
referring
at-
to South Africa or
By darts, do you mean spears? No.
you're referring to South Africa right now?
No,
The
no, so
rugby thing.
I'm in Amsterdam, but I'm from South Africa.
Exactly. So you're good at darts as well.
Oh, yes, of course. I
That's
was literally good at darts. Yeah, I'm good at darts and making cheese.
I mean,
That's
Be prepared, Andrew. Next year, September, October, I think, early October, we came to Amsterdam. So be prepared. I told already to Mitch Wilson about that. So yeah, we have to do some big fun in Amsterdam. So I hope you'll be there.
That would be great. And I'm going to Mitch's house for New Year's. So I will talk to Mitch about this.
He know that already.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
yeah. I told him.
We'll come up with a master plan. Darts and cheese. That's
Yes, of course. Yes.
Good enough for me, to be honest. So.
No, but it's a lovely city. It really is. Amsterdam's a beautiful city. So anything we can help you guys with when you come here, please let us know. There's a lot of cool stuff to see and do here. I
am planning a trip next year. I don't remember which date is whiskey and rum and Z. Do you know the date? New date?
Yeah. That's in October. Is it October? I think it's in October.
Sorry, I have a calendar here. Give me a second.
It could be because it's really close to other things, so you can actually move from one day to another to Belgium. I think was it that one?
Yes, the next day exactly. Yeah. I can see my calendar is October 3rd of October, I want to visit the Scotman Distillery again. After that, Scher again. On Friday, Saturday, IJmuiden Festival, and Sunday, Spa, Belgium. So it will be hard days. Yeah. For sure.
Nice. That's going to be nice, and we're gonna see each other somewhere there.
Oh, I'd love that. Really, I'll definitely be at the Whiskey and Rum on Zay. I'll be there for sure. By the
way, where else are you planning to be next year with your products? Is there any plans to be on an alcohol events, fairs, or whatever?
Maybe in Poland.
Yeah, we would love to be in Poland. Honestly, would love to get over and do some stuff. I mean, look, so at the moment, there's a few ideas that we're playing with. And we're just trying to strike that balance between markets we're in and markets we want to be in. So we're trying to strike that balance at the moment. But certainly if there's an opportunity to come to Poland, we're coming. I'll bring cheese. Like we're there.
Okay, we'll talk together. No problem. we will find a solution, be sure.
That'll be amazing. I'd love to get over. Yeah. That'll be super cool. What's the opinion of the Pegu Club? Where's our bartenders? Our bartenders need to like tell us what they think.
Yeah, well, Jacob is really silent, but I'm gonna just say that it's really my palate. I love the sour thing in it. Absolutely, and basically it's exactly what you've said. In a blind tasting, you could not say that, oh, it's not a proper drink made from scratches. It's really, really good. And I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think it's really good. Anyway, I'm really surprised with those 3 drinks so far, because let's be honest, I was really a little bit skeptic, like most of us here.
Yeah, I don't blame you for being skeptical, really. But this is what I really hope that we bring to the table is, I think with a lot of canned drinks, there's a lot of shit in a can. But we really hope that people go, that's good shit in a can, you know? So it's been a huge amount of work. It really has. Just trying to get the recipes right, and the challenges that we have with being 1/3 full. I have sat with food scientists and beverage product developers who have told me that they don't think it's possible to put the drinks out. And see, this is where being a stubborn South African helps, is you know, as Nelson Mandela said, it's always impossible until it's done. So that's always been my mentality, is I think there has to be a way. And I do think that now we've cracked it. I do think that we're at a point where, look, safety-wise, this is stable. This is safety-wise, this will be safe for years. But we add a 1-year shelf life to our cans. But there's a difference between when a drink is safe and when a drink changes in terms of a profile. So for us, in the beginning, some of our drinks would start to change after, say, 3 months. The color would change or the taste would change. They were still perfectly safe to drink, but there were these changes that would happen. And you can't have that, because then they're inconsistent. So you can't have somebody who's going to buy your daiquiri today and they're going to, well, let's say they have stock from 3 months ago and they reorder today and they serve 2 daiquiris and one of them comes out brown and the other one comes out like this one. You can't have that. So it's been a case of really understanding all the dynamics that exist within the drink and then applying theory, which, as far as we know, has never been done in the drinks industry before. Because again, food scientists have told me, oh, we don't think it can be done. But I think we've now clocked it. We've figured it out. We have a product that in our tests has certainly lasted the period of time that we needed to last. So it's been a hell of a challenge, but we're very proud of what we've achieved.
Yeah, congrats, because this is really good. I mean, even the daiquiri, come on, not every bar, not every cocktail bar can serve a proper daiquiri. So I think with the daiquiri, we can have our taste, our palate that goes through the sweetness or the sourness or whatever. But this is also, I don't think that any one of those two, because the Cosmo grapefruit is something totally different, so you can't compare it to anything else. But with these two, we have our own vision and our own taste and the ideal ones that we tasted, but it doesn't really stand in the place that, okay, this is out straight from the can, this is shite or whatever. No, it's not. It's a good quality drink. Of course, it's not perfect, and as a bartender, you know that, and you've said it yourself that you would do it with your own hand from scratch. It's in a different way and with a different result. But still, in a blind tasting, these two, this one and daiquiri, it would not come out as a canned drink that was just shaking. And
I genuinely believe that it will beat some bars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. I think so. Yeah.
Andrea, have you ever thought about changing the Pegu Club for a gimlet, for example? Like simpler way of making a gin sour without orange curacao.
Yeah, so we have thought about doing something like that. The main reason why we haven't done a gimlet is just because a gimlet is more, at least in my mind, it's more of a stirred drink than a shaken drink. And so we've tried to stay true to the origin of the drinks. So like that's why we also haven't done a stirred martini or something like that. You know, maybe in the future we'll do a Turf Club cocktail, because a Turf Club cocktail was shaken, or a Bradford or something like that, because those were twists on the, you know, that martini style drink, which was shaken.
Club?
Yeah, so Clover Club is a great example of a drink that we are looking at. But we've got a few drinks in the pipeline. So for the next year, we've got about 6 drinks that we want to look at trying to do. Clover Club is one of them.
Okay.
So there's challenges that come with the Clover Club. You know, like one of the things as well is, so if you think about these drinks, color is so important, right? So when you make a Clover Club, you want that beautiful kind of raspberry red type character that color that gets poured into your glass. The light hits a Clover Club in a particular way. The same thing with like a scofflaw cocktail as well. The light hits it in a particular way. And one of the challenges we have is how to keep that for a year inside the can. And so there's a whole bunch of kind of trial and error that goes into creating each drink, and it takes months, it really does, before we sit there and go like, okay, we're now happy with this, and this is where we want to you know, this is the drink that we want to roll out. But it takes a lot of trial and error.
Okay.
We're getting there.
Just one more question. As a gin freak, I need to ask you, how did you manage to really live in this 100 something milliliters that you can really taste the gin? I mean, the herbs and everything. How did you manage that? If it's not a secret, tell us as much as you can.
No, I'm happy to go into it, because the reason I'm happy to go into it is because hopefully then people understand how much work has gone into these. I sat with a micro pipette and a scale that goes down to 3 decimal points, and I balanced the drinks out that way. So our drinks are measured down to 3 decimal points. And it was a case of sitting there and going, it needs just a touch more juniper, or it needs like a touch more orange, and then changing it to, like, in terms of microliters on the micro pipette, going down to like 20 microliters sometime. You know, like it was really, it became an obsession where it was just trying to really, really pay attention to what every little nuance that you're getting in the drink was. And in a way, that's pretty cool, because it's very difficult to go down to that level of detail when you're on a working bar. If you're on a working bar and you're churning out 300 drinks in a night, you can't pay that much attention to each drink. Whereas with this, I can pay that much attention to my batch. And that way I know that every drink that goes out from that batch is going to be of that level. It's consistent. So it's, yeah, there are pros and cons to doing drinks this way. So as I said earlier, like I'm never going to stand up and say this is better than a real established cocktail bar, because I've been there. I know exactly how much work goes into it. But at the same time, I think it's very difficult for a bar to pay as much attention to detail that we pay to our drinks as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But can you tell me which gin was your inspiration or your base at the beginning, at least, or is that has changed since the process?
Yes, so I have 2 gins that I use as my basis for gins. I love juniper. I'm not somebody who wants my gin to taste like some random flower. All right, so
yeah.
I'm a juniper gin lover. I think in terms of balance, if there are 2 benchmarks in the industry, it's Tanqueray and Sipsmith. I think they are phenomenal benchmarks for the industry in terms of your more classic style gins. And my favorite gin is probably the Sipsmith VJOP, which is it's very high in juniper. But that's what I look for in a gin, and I think that's what will come across in this drink as well. You know, like I think in this
now when you answered me, it actually shows. So you know your shit. So yeah, thank you.
I try to, at least. Got to work on my darts though. Terrible at darts. But yeah,
we can
so
fix that. We can fix that. So, you know.
I need to come to Poland and you guys can teach me some darts, and then I'll come back to the Netherlands and I'll shock everyone. And they'll say, what did you do? And I was like, I went to Poland.
Oh no, darts are not popular in Poland. It's just me. So don't worry. Don't think that you have a pressure on you. No. It's just me. I just remember a few players from Holland that are really good at darts. They're like top
Barney from
quality
Barneveld
championships.
and a few guys like that. Yeah.
Barneveld was playing today actually. So yeah, I was watching the championships. Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I was making drinks.
I was preparing myself to the meeting, and Barneveld was playing today, and Barney won, of course. So yeah.
Awesome, nice. All right, so we're up for another drink. Should we head to a Mai Tai?
Just before you do, just really quickly, could I ask, you said that you were talking about introducing some other cocktails, and I just wondered whether you were thinking about sticking to like a certain number in your lineup, or whether you're thinking about swapping them out, or is the plan to just expand whatever's popular?
No, I think that, we're very conscious of the fact that different countries have different preferences in terms of flavor profile. And so this is something that we want to make global. We will be developing drinks that range from a flavor profile. So I'm saving the sweeter drinks for the very end. So the Pornstar Martini and the Espresso Martini are the drinks we'll try at the end. But that's an example of, at the moment, how we just have 6 drinks, but it ranges from more sour to more sweet. And we're going to have to continue that kind of exploration across different markets that we want to get into. So if it doesn't matter where you look in the world, some people are going to have a preference for bitter or for sweet or for sour or for aromatic or whatever it might be. So the whole goal will be to have a range of drinks that people can. We may not sell every type of every drink in every market. Okay, like if something is not going to work in the UK, then there's no point in trying to sell it in the UK. If something is not going to work in Poland, there's no point in trying to force it down Polish people's throats either. So we will be developing drinks that when we're working with importers in different countries, we'll look at the requests we're getting and we'll develop drinks based on that as well.
Cool. Thank you. Won't stop you on the Mai Tai now. Thanks.
Mai Tai. All right. So our Mai Tai, it was probably the second drink we developed after the daiquiri, right? Because like I said in the beginning, we had William George, and when we first thought of this, it was purely because COVID had happened, and we thought, how are we going to sell our rum now? And then we started doing the Mai Tai. Well, we'd done the daiquiri and we started working on the Mai Tai. And the Mai Tai, although we developed the daiquiri first, we sold the Mai Tai first. Okay, so this was the first rum or first drink that we started selling. And again, something that I think is important to mention here is that although we have our own rum, I'm not somebody that's going to try to fool people into thinking that my rum works brilliantly in every drink, because I don't think it does. Okay, and a mojito is an example. Like, I've had a bunch of bartenders say to me, oh, like, what's your recipe for a William George mojito? And I'm like, Havana Club 3-year-old. It's way better than William George and a mojito. But when it comes to a Mai Tai, it's the same thing. Okay, so William George is not the ultimate Mai Tai rum, and we didn't make it to be the ultimate Mai Tai rum. There are so many rums that are better off. And this was a blend that was put together to try and emulate replicate the original Trader Vic kind of style of rum that was used in the Mai Tai. So when Trader Vic, the original Mai Tai was Ray and Nephew 17-year-old, it was orange curacao, it was lime juice, orgeat syrup, and rock candy syrup. Okay, so that was the original Mai Tai, Trader Vic 1944, Oakland, California. When Trader Vic couldn't get the Ray and Nephew 17-year-old, he used the 15-year-old, And when he couldn't get the 15-year-old, he started blending rums from Jamaica and Martinique. But what people don't realize nowadays is that those Martinique rums were not agricole at the time. So in the 1940s and going into the early 50s, I guess, as well, the rums that Martinique was exporting to the USA were molasses-based. The fresh cane juice, the agricole rums, were going to France. They had molasses-based rums that were going to the US. So the rums that Trader Vic were using from Martinique were not agricole rums. They were molasses-based rums. So we've tried to kind of work with a rum producer who I'm not sure I'm allowed to mention yet, because this product has not officially been launched. So there is rum in here that has not officially been launched yet, so I will hold my tongue a bit, but if you read the ingredients, you'll get an idea of the brand that will be released, but I won't say the people that are behind the brand yet. But yeah, so we've gone with this rum, and then our acid lime blend, the orange distillate that we have. And then instead of using almond, we've gone with bitter almond extract. So almond carries a nut allergy. The chemical in almonds that is responsible for the flavor of almonds is also present in apricot kernels, so apricot pips. And so the product that we have extracts that exact same chemical responsible for that flavor from apricot pips, and we use that as our flavoring. Now, that means we don't have a nut allergy in our drink. Okay, so with all of our drinks, we try to keep all of our drinks vegan friendly, and we try to keep all of our drinks free of all major allergens. Now, of course, there are allergens to potentially everything in the world, but of all the major allergens, the things that you need to put on a label, we are free of all of those. So there's a lot of thought that goes into, the whole construction of our recipes as well. So if you have friends around for a drink and one of them has a nut allergy, you can serve this to them without having to worry about having an EpiPen nearby. And that's a very good thing, all right? You don't want EpiPens and parties. They don't end up like you might. There's nothing fun about them. Let's put it that way. All right, so, and then of course we've got the sugar in there and like I said, the acid blend. So here's our Mai Tai. We try to follow that original 1944 recipe. This is in a rocks glass, of course. Chuck some ice in your rocks glass. Traditionally, this was served on crushed ice, but I'm at home and I really don't have time to, I could bash some ice, but who has time for that, right? So all I'm going to do is chuck some, I used to make 300 drinks a night for 20 years. I don't go to effort at home, all right? This is my product for home. I don't crush ice at home, right?
Is it me only? Nie, teraz już nie muszę po angielsku.
I think
Andrew zniknął, nie?
I think it's Andrew's problem. Andrew,
You're
Like
back.
Andrew froze, yeah.
are you there, Andrew?
No, he disappeared. He'll reconnect shortly, I
Oh,
guess.
okay.
Mieliśmy raz taką sytuację, że komuś komputer umarł i zakończyło połączenie. Była taka sytuacja kiedyś.
Am I back?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, I thought we just finished already. Come on.
Chris, was that you again, man? We've gone from this to like kicking me off. Like, what's going on?
Oh, you have to do that one more time. You have to do this. No. Higher. No, it doesn't work. I don't know why.
I don't know.
Andrew,
So
I'm
yeah,
not
sorry,
a
I
cocktail-
don't know when that cut off.
If
But
you don't mind, Andrew, before you continue, I'm
Yes.
not a cocktail expert, but my wife is sort of
No expert at all. I'm just an amateur.
More than
No,
me.
no, no. Can I
But
just say,
basically-
my man, that is the right answer. Your wife is an expert. That is-
Basically, we went to one of the Torun's best cocktail bars, and just recently, and we just had Mai Tai, and it's very similar, even better. So
Thank
very
you.
good job, thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
My favorite so far.
I
Yeah.
love all of them. I can't say if any of them is my favorite, but I love all of them. Really, really great. Shall we can't
Thank
see you. Come forward.
That's on purpose, I guess.
Let him drink a little more to show up.
But no, so to be completely honest, the Mai Tai is my favorite out of the drinks as well, actually. Yeah, I'm very proud of this drink.
I'm waiting for Portland Martini, to be honest.
So
yeah, Andrew, before we go to next step, this was one of.
I've opened my can, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah, but listen, this was one of the funniest moments for me when I read ingredients of this Mai Tai. I know, do you remember you did Mai Tai for us, for me and Piotr in Aimuiden during the festival? And this was the time for me when I had to stop drink because I had to drive to the hotel later. So this cocktail drank Piotr. And but when I tried it, I thought, wow, it is delicious. It is super delicious. I have a movie from this moment. Maybe if you allow me,
Please go for it.
show this one. And but first of all, one of the funniest things, because Andrew, I believe you. I believe you really, really much. And when in other places, on some bottles, some no-name bottles, I see some words which means nothing. Yeah. When I saw on your can, first of ingredients, something rum blend. Well, once again, I believe you. So behind of these words, there is something good for sure. But when I read this one first time, I laughed. I really, really laughed. So I must ask you, what's kind of rum behind of these words?
So there's rums in here. Like I said, there's rums. The primary rums in here are from Jamaica and Martinique. Now the ones from Martinique, there's the Le Gallion. So Martinique, of course, Le Gallion does molasses-based rums. They do a really, really funky kind of style molasses-based rum. So there's a bit of Le Gallion in there, but then there's also a few different rums from Jamaica. And as far as I remember, there's a bit of Guyana in here as well. But I will need to double check with the person who behind this, actually. So when you come over next year, I will pull you aside with the person that's made this blend, and you're gonna go, "What? You did this?" But yeah, so the principal kind of flavor profile behind it is that Jamaica with molasses-based rum from Martinique.
Okay.
So again, it's the whole reason this rum was developed was to be a Mai Tai rum.
Okay. let me show to participants this movie which I did during the festival. Give me a second. This one. Can you see that? Oh, give me a second. Give me a second. Sorry.
I remember that story. Yeah.
I told you.
What did you use for garnish?
A mint sprig. A bit of a mint sprig.
And Piotr drank all this cocktail. It was a terrible time for me, really, believe me.
It was a beautiful time for me, Chris.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's start the next one.
Right, yeah, so Mai Tai. So I've opened this one up already. So again, I'm just going to chuck in a few ice cubes. I've put my cubes of ice in my glass already as well. Grab my top, put that on, and then, yeah, of course, as we've done the whole time, just give it a good shake. There we go, nice and cold. Okay, so I'll pour this straight into my glass over here. So like I said, I mean, normally this was done in crushed ice, but at home, I genuinely can't be bothered crushing ice. so I use cubes. The risk with that is that for some people, if you're using cubed, for some people, the drink might be slightly under diluted. If that's the case, give it a finger stir. And then otherwise, next time, for the next one, shake it a bit longer. But so I'm going to grab a bit of mint. So the original garnish, and again, I should have told Chris to grab mint. but the original garnish for the Mai Tai was half a spent lime. So by spent, it means like the shell of the lime that was used to make in the drink with a sprig of mint. All right, so half a shell of lime, sprig of mint. In this case, I'm just going to go a wedge of lime. I'm going to chuck that there, and then a little bit of mint tap it on the side of the glass, put that next to my lime wedge, and there we go. So now we've got a nice little kind of garnish for this drink. You still get the aroma of the lime zest, and you still get the aroma of the mint on top, and then it's Mai Tai time. Mai Tai time. And there is no better time than Mai Tai time. And yeah, so with that one, like a Mai Tai should be a rum forward drink. Okay, so again, if you're getting Mai Tais that are just a kind of sweet almond kind of flavor, you're not getting a good Mai Tai. Also, if you're getting a Mai Tai, which is a bunch of pineapple juice and orange juice and all the rest of it, that was a drink that came in the 1970s, all right? So there was the Mai Tai Royale, which was when Trader Vic was doing some consultancy for the was the Hilton Hotel in Waikiki Beach. And he developed that drink, which was a blend of different rums with some pineapple juice and some orange juice and a whole bunch of different things. So if anybody tells you that that's not a proper Mai Tai because it doesn't have pineapple juice, throw it at them, and you have my full permission, all right? Throw it at them and then say, don't be a silly sausage, and then tell them this is based on the original 1944 recipe. So, and the silly sausage is important, all right? That kind of makes it or breaks it. So that's, you can say this is a proper Mai Tai. I'm happy with that.
One more time, you should tell me that I should send to all the people mint.
Yeah, no, that's what I said just now. I should have. Chris, I think we're running through a whole bunch of lists. Like when my teachers in high school, you know, like they said, Andrew, you should have.
Yeah,
We all been there. We all been there. So yeah.
And they're all right. And you're right. I should have.
Because I know this could be better. This could be better. But yeah.
Okay, so Andrea, I'm gonna confess now. I don't have a fresh mint because I don't really like it. At least not these ones that we have during the winter time in Poland. So I've used and I squashed Moroccan mint, the dried one, Moroccan mint.
Nice. Yeah. How is
and
that?
It's, yeah, that works. That works as well.
Oh, it's super cool. I might try that actually. I'm gonna like tomorrow. I'm gonna go to my markets and try to find some Moroccan mint. That's really cool.
The Moroccan mint is it has much more flavors in terms of the nose, and you know you have it, and it's much more sweeter.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't add the sweetness into this. It freshness and some kind of really freshness vibes to it, at least from what now I'm getting. So
oh, that's really awesome. Thank you. Like I'd never thought of actually trying to, you know, put that in with the drink. But you know where that could be great? It's like the ShakaCan camping pack. When you're in Kruger Park and you're in your 4x4. And Kruger Park is a nature reserve in South Africa, which is about the same size as Belgium, and it's just the big five. It's lions and elephants and rhinos and all those beautiful things. But you could be sitting in the park watching an elephant smashing a bit of Moroccan mint over your Mai Tai.
yeah, and it's actually even better when you're thinking about, for example, later on, probably you might think about the ShakaCan boxes or subscriptions or whatever you want to call it, or gift bags, or you know, gift boxes. That Moroccan mint, it's never it doesn't go wrong because it's dried already, so you can't go wrong with it. And it's really, really cool. And you don't need to add it to the glass which I did. You can add it to the can. So you
you can shake it in the can.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have the bits of the mint inside the glass.
I mean, you know, you are just ideas for days. You are. I'm loving this. That's amazing. No, we need to do that. We need to get you on an African safari with a bunch of ShakaCans and some Moroccan mint. Possibilities are endless. That's all right. What should we go for next? Should we maybe go for the espresso martini? Let's go for the espresso martini. Okay. I need to have another sip of my Mai Tai first. When I say sip, I mean gulp. That was definitely a gulp. That was not a sip. All right, so espresso martini. So this, one of the things I'm really proud of with this drink is that we don't, well, there's a few things I'm proud of. One of them is, let's go back to the original recipe of the drink, right? Dick Bradsell created this drink. I have a card in my wallet, which is not on me right now, from Pink Chihuahua, one of the early kind of cards from Pink Chihuahua in London, which is where Dick Bradsell was working for a while. Not where he created the espresso martini, but he was working there. And I went in there one night and I started talking with Dick Bradsell, and he wrote down the recipe for me for his espresso martini. So that became my kind of blueprint for developing this drink. There were a huge number of challenges. One of them is that espresso is a very particular expression of coffee. It is a certain amount of coffee under a certain amount of pressure at a certain temperature for a certain amount of time. It is a very particular type of coffee. And if you make espresso and you try to keep it, it goes bad in no time. Okay, so I tested this. I had a bunch of espresso and I left it for a week. And after a week, it tasted like burnt car tires. It wasn't something I wanted to drink. So straight away, that was a problem for a drink that we want to be able to kind of have a shelf life for a year. So I reached out to somebody I know here in Amsterdam who's from Kenya. A guy called Steen. He has a company called Steen's Beans. And Steen works directly with farmers in Africa, small scale, high altitude farmers, where he sources phenomenal coffee. And he also helps those farmers kind of grow their business, but also he reinvests a lot of money into helping the coffee industry within Kenya, Rwanda, and I think Uganda as well, but mainly Kenya, Rwanda. So the coffee that we have in here is a coffee from Rwanda, which is called Mbili. And this is sourced through Steen. It's a very ethical coffee, but it's a coffee where we've had to learn how to extract the flavor profile that we're looking to get from it. So it's again been a whole bunch of trial and error. Sometimes what you do is you extract coffee a certain way and then you put it in a can for a while, and after 6 months it goes super bitter, or it might go in a completely different direction. So again, we've had to learn how to extract this coffee properly. And also the other thing that happens is if you look at the foam on an espresso martini, that's an integral part of the drink. And if you don't extract the coffee a certain way, you end up with no foam. Okay, so you can't super filter the coffee, because if you do super filter the coffee, then you might get some color. You'd be able to look through it, which again is not something you want with an espresso martini. You'd lose a bit of color, but at the same time, you're also going to lose some of that flavor. You're going to lose some of that characteristic in the coffee that we associate with being espresso. So in terms of development, this was the most difficult drink in our range to what I consider to be get right. And I do think it's a really good drink. I don't think you're going to find a better canned espresso martini. Let me put it that way. I was stopped by a friend of ours in the street, and she said, "Andrew, what are you on?" And I was like, "What do you mean, what am I on? I'm fine, I'm good. And I was like bouncing around, and I bounce around at the best of times. But she's like, "Andrew, what are you on?" I was like, "No, nothing." And she goes, "Honestly, it looks like you're high on something." And basically what had happened was, in a month, I'd gone through 8 kilograms of coffee, testing different batches for this drink. And I was just wired like hell. So she said, honestly, if I was a cop, I'd pull you over. So yeah, so this drink, very difficult to get right, very difficult. But again, I think that we're now at a place where I'm very proud of what we have here. There's enough bitterness to where you still associate it with an espresso, but not too much to the point where it's going to keep on getting bitter and more bitter. So we do use a foaming agent in this as well, and the foaming agent is a vegan foaming agent. And the reason we added that is because the reason you get foam in espresso is because of the relationship between fats and proteins. Over time, the proteins dissipate. And so if you don't have an additional form of foaming, which is more stable, then it means that the foam just will die. So after 6 months, the foam on this drink started to die. So we then added a soap bark extract. And the soap bark extract just kind of lasts a hell of a lot longer than just the protein-fat relationship in the espresso itself, or the coffee itself, because we don't use espresso. But yeah, so we'll open this up. Is that clear to everyone, by the way? I might be rambling. I don't know. I do that a lot. But
that stood out for me, Andrew, was your 8 kilograms of coffee. I mean, Jesus, you must have really been bouncing around. That's a whole different level to your micro pipette right there. But yeah.
So the crazy thing was the time it took me to come off that. Because I'm used to having like maybe a cup of coffee in a day or something like that. Or sometimes I won't even have, sometimes I have a cup of coffee in a week. But the whole thing with 8 kilograms in a month was I was now at a point where I was having that much caffeine per day. And when I got the drink right, or what I thought was right, I thought to myself, right, that's it. I'll stop taking the coffee. And I ended up getting mad headaches.
I bet.
And so I had to wean myself off the coffee over a period of another month. And then I got back to where I am normally. And yeah.
All the things you've done for a lovely drink, eh?
We try our best. So of course with this one, because of the foam, you have to shake it hard, all right? There's no wobbling with this one. You have to smash it. So I'll give it a nice, same thing if you're making a drink on a bar, right? So if a bartender's making you a drink where there's a foam, if they're not shaking hard, you're not going to get a foam, right? So with this drink, there we go, it's nice and cold. With this drink, same thing. You have to shake it really hard in order to activate those proteins and get that foam layer going.
What did you do, Andrew? This foam is so pretty.
The what, sorry?
This foam is so pretty. What did you do?
So it's really is a combination of the coffee we're using and also the foamer that we're using as well. So it's, yeah, I think the foam on this is amazing. I think it's as good as you'll get in a freshly shaken espresso martini on a bar. I mean, just look at that.
But is it something like a foamy or something natural foamer?
Yeah, it's a natural foamer which is derived from the soap bark tree. So again, it's a vegan friendly foamer, but it's a type of tree that originates from Bolivia. And through the bark of that tree, you're able to extract this foaming quality.
Okay, and for the extract of coffee, you're using simple brewed coffee or cold brew, for example?
We do everything cold. But the way we do it cold, I'm not going to go into detail because that's kind of, you know, my business partners will kill me. Again, I spent 8 kilograms of coffee getting it right, man. So
for some people, it's a pleasure. So
yeah, just not me. But no.
Okay, regarding the foam, I have I'm not sure if it's a complaint actually, but it exploded. Literally, after I poured my drink into the glass.
Were you shaking it
and I-
under the table?
It exploded.
Andrew,
Probably
in my opinion, you shouldn't
the
start
riser exploded after shaking it so hard, but still, it exploded, right? So I was like all over, but still the drink and the foam in the glass and the drink itself is great. But just I don't know if anyone else had this same experience.
Actually,
Probably not.
that's a great question. If somebody else did have that, then please do say. Because we don't
maybe shaking too hard or whatever. I don't know.
Maybe your guns are just too big. Exactly. Like
so for another question,
lay off the weights.
So for another question, is it possible to know what type of coffee you are using to make the drink? Like
Sure.
what percentage of Arabica or Robusta?
It's 100% Arabica. It is a coffee from Rwanda, which is called Mbili. And it's a high altitude coffee, which is sourced from small scale farmers. So typical notes of the coffee from this place is this cacao notes. If you guys are picking up a big chocolate note in there, then that is 100% from the coffee. So we don't add any flavoring to this or whatever. It is just the flavor of the coffee. And that was important to us as well. We wanted to highlight the brilliance of the coffee that comes from Africa. Again, being African, I passionate about products that come from Africa. And I think, the coffee from Africa is amazing. So we wanted to highlight that in this drink. So yeah, so all the flavor profile in this is 100% just the coffee from Rwanda.
And vodka, because you're using this, I suppose, the same vodka for Pornstar, Cosmopolitan, or Espresso Martini. Is it of your production or you're importing something?
No, so we buy the vodka at 96% alcohol. So we buy it in. It's a wheat-based vodka that we buy.
Okay.
And then obviously we use that in different proportions according to whichever drink that we're producing at that time.
Of which origin the vodka are you importing? From which country?
It's produced in Belgium.
Okay.
But I do not know where they are getting their wheat from. And that's an honest answer. I'm not sure where they're getting their wheat from. But I do know that that the vodka itself is produced or the spirit itself is produced in Belgium.
Okay.
I love this.
Overall, in my opinion, it's a really good drink. Of course, as in most of them, the sense of sweetness is too much, but it's personal. And since you are trying to get to drink cocktails for people who doesn't know the cocktails, it's a pretty good idea. So yeah, it's 5 out of 6 for yes. Yeah.
Thank you. That's really cool. I'll take that. And I mean, the whole thing there again is, I agree with what you're saying. If I was making an espresso martini on the bar, I would have less sugar in this. But again, if you taste what most people drink as an espresso martini, it's a lot sweeter than this. And
my old boss used to say that people are thinking of getting something like a tutti frutti geishit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in most of the occasion, it's totally accurate. The tutti frutti geishit.
100%. I think a lot of people have created an idea in their head that, for example, the espresso martini is a dessert. You know, like there's a lot of thinking for people that the espresso martini is super sweet, and the porn star martini as well, super sweet. And therefore they believe that if you have an espresso martini that is not super sweet, that it's not a real espresso martini. And we've tried to go against that. Again, like I use exactly the same sugar levels that Dick Bradsell gave me in the recipe that he gave me. The difference being is that Dick Bradsell used really strong espresso. Really strong espresso is more bitter than the coffee that I produce in the warehouse for this drink. And so his drink was more balanced because that sweetness counteracted the bitterness of the espresso. But what I've done is I've tried to, again, create that kind of midpoint where somebody who's drinking this drink, they may have had a super sweet espresso martini somewhere else in the past, but this could be the bridge to getting them to try an espresso martini in a really good bar. So it's not as sweet as a mainstream espresso martini, but it's also not as bitter as what you'll get from an espresso martini.
The bridge is the perfect word to describe it. It's like, that's it. Yeah, spot on.
Yeah. That's what we're trying to kind of get the whole time is just that point where, you know, we're very conscious of the fact that unfortunately this is not world's 50 best kind of quality drinks. But at the same time, I truly believe that I haven't tried something in a can that's better. And that's what I'm trying to aim for, is I'm trying to aim for what is the closest that we can get to a bar quality drink, and a good bar quality drink in a can. And so that's everything that goes into this is around that.
Shaken vodka?
Just shaken vodka?
Yeah.
Like a dry vodka martini in America?
No. Just shot of vodka, just shaken.
I mean, we could do that. That would be the easiest drink to make.
You know what, Andrew? I have a problem now.
Oh boy.
Because until this time, I thought daiquiri is the best drink for me. I think it still is. But now this espresso martini, you know, it's great. It's really, really great.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
It's really great. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like I said, this drink was the most difficult drink to get right. It was really hard to get right. But yeah, I'm happy with where it is, and we'll keep using real coffee from real coffee farmers. So that's the big thing with this. But I'll have another sip, because then I won't be able to sleep tonight at all. It'll be great.
Okay, but you're using only the fresh or real coffee.
Yeah.
Without any coffee liqueurs.
Nothing.
Why?
Because again, I wanted this to be an expression of coffee, and I wanted it to be an expression of the coffee that we're using. So what I did was I tasted the coffee liqueurs. So Dick Bradsell, in his original recipe, he used both Kahlua and Tia Maria. He used both of them. And something that's a common factor between those two liqueurs is this cacao note that comes through. Both of them use cacao in their coffee liqueur manufacturing. So it's not that their coffee tastes like cacao, it's that they use cacao. So what I wanted to do was find an African coffee that highlighted cacao as well, but naturally. And that's what I found in this coffee from Rwanda. So it wasn't a case of me creating a coffee liqueur that we would then use in this drink. It was a case of, I want coffee to be the star of the show in this drink. And I want a coffee that will also contain the flavor profile that you find in these coffee liqueurs. And I think that with what we have, it's about as close as you're going to get.
Yeah, you did the job. Totally. You did the job. Well done.
Thank you. But it also means that with the amount of coffee we're using per drink, if it means that farmers in Africa are getting their fair pay for that coffee, then I'm 100% behind that. You know, like I think a lot of farmers get a very hard deal in Africa, and so if we can be on the supporting side of coffee farmers in Africa, then that's what I want to do.
Andrew, out of the topic, actually, from whereabouts you were in South Africa? I mean, which region or whereabouts?
I'm from a province called the Eastern Cape, which most tourists don't go to. So I grew up in a town called Umtata, and I went to school in a town that was called Grahamstown, now called Makanda. So I was always in the Eastern Cape.
Yeah. I know South African regions because of the wine industry. So you do make a great wine out there. So
I think so too. I think South Africa produces amazing value for money wine. South Africa and Portugal, amazing value for money wine. And so I grew up, you know, around wine as a culture. And I think in South Africa, I imagine it's a bit like Poland, where you just grew up with alcohol as a culture, you know, like it's whatever tastes good.
It's not the same. It's not the same because the South Africa was actually it's not subject for tonight, but yeah. Nevertheless, that's why I asked you when you said about the cheese and the rugby. I was actually confused because the rugby is also really strong in South Africa.
Oh yeah, like we won the World Cup this year.
Exactly.
For the fourth time. I want to throw that. This is being recorded, right? This is being recorded, Chris. Yeah, for the fourth time.
Yes, it is. I know. Well done, yeah.
But yeah. So I think there's just one ShakaCan drink left to try, and that's the porn star martini. All right.
So before we go there,
sadly that's the last one.
Sorry.
I know this is a Rum Explorer, but I wouldn't be myself if I didn't ask. Is any of those 6 cocktails you're going to do next year, or planning to do next year, whiskey related in any way?
Yes. Yeah.
Which one is it?
I'm not going to say yet.
So perhaps you can use the name of the
Please tell me it's old fashioned. Please.
Which
so maybe at least you can say which whiskey are you gonna use?
Is it sour?
Yeah, we are looking at a sour drink for the whiskey. Yeah.
That's enough for me.
Thank
you.
At least a region, the region of Scotland that you're gonna use.
We're looking at the USA actually.
USA,
okay.
so whiskey. Okay, to be honest, I wouldn't be.
Maybe a New York sour.
It's old fashioned.
Okay,
a New York sour then with
did
a
you
red wine
consider
on it.
penicillin at any time?
The what? Sorry.
Penicillin, the one with Peter.
Penicillin. Oh, I've
penicillin.
made so many penicillins on the bar. It's crazy. I love penicillins. It's a great.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Is it even possible to make it in a can?
It's possible. It would be very difficult. It'd be very difficult to get to the point where it's, you know, the quality that you get on a bar. But what a great challenge.
Yeah, if you do that, I'll definitely buy a palette.
One of the things you have with ginger is that the spicy element of ginger kind of dissipates over time. All right. So
Okay.
it kind of, so that's why a lot of ginger beers actually add capsaicin, the same acid that's chilies. They add that to their ginger beer in order to give the spiciness, because over time the spiciness in ginger dies. So it's easier for a lot of companies to just take a ginger flavoring and then use capsaicin, and that gives, so you smell the ginger, sorry. So because ginger is an aroma, it's not a taste, but you smell the ginger and you get the sensation of the capsaicin, and that makes you think, oh, ginger. But in reality, it's a combination of those two things that get you to think of ginger or spicy ginger in a packaged drink.
Okay, so fingers crossed for the one that we don't want to name today.
So with this porn star martini, I want to go over a few things of this. One of them is, when we started making this drink, we noticed that a lot of people weren't drinking it the way it's meant to be drunk. So it's meant to be drunk with a... Do you guys know Douglas Ankara? Yeah. So Douglas was a good friend of mine. I spoke to him once a week on the phone. All right. Like, Douglas was a really good friend of mine. And Douglas created the porn star martini. And basically it's meant to be, you take a bite of the passion fruit, which was kind of sweet sour because it was passion fruit and vanilla sugar. And then you took a sip of the drink, which was sweet. And then you took a sip of the champagne. If Douglas was making it, it would have been Ruinart Blanc de Blanc. You took a sip of the champagne, and that put everything in balance. Okay, so again, this is one of those drinks where I have this romantic notion behind it, where it's meant to be a bite, a sip, and a sip. Okay, so bite of the, I see this. So I developed our original porn star martini with that in mind. I developed it with having a bite of the acidic kind of passion fruit, a sip of the sweeter drink, and then a sip of the champagne or Prosecco or Cava, which would then round off that sweetness from the drink. But what I realized after a while was that nobody was...
Don't mix one quick note, don't mix Prosecco with Cava. That's totally different thing.
I agree. I said one or the other. I said champagne, Prosecco, or Cava. I didn't say mix that shit together. Right? That's a bad idea. Right? That is one hell of a bootstrap headache waiting to happen. But when I noticed that people weren't drinking the drink the way it was meant to be consumed, we had to kind of think about how we're going to package this as a drink itself. So I made this more acidic than it should be. If you have the original porn star martini recipe, the original porn star martini recipe is sweeter than what I have in this can. Okay, but because most of the people that were drinking this drink were not drinking it the way it should be drunk, I increased the acidity in this drink. So if any of you are familiar with Douglas, you're familiar with the porn star martini, and you taste this and you go like, it's not sweet, it's too sour, whatever. I agree with you. Like I said, Douglas was a good friend of mine. I would be more than happy to take the ass kicking that he would give me. But I want full openness when it comes to this. Like, it is more acidic than what you would get from an original porn star martini, but it's something that you can drink on its own. Right, so there's that. Right, so that being said, let us open it. I'm sure there's a bunch of people who have made this already, in which case, let us know what you think. So again, everything in this is natural as well. It was difficult to balance this because when I used pure bourbon vanilla, or pure any vanilla for that matter, the vanilla died at the back of the palate, okay? Because vanilla vodka, and Douglas used Carriol vanilla vodka in the original Pornstar Martini. Vanilla vodka is not made with pure bourbon style vanilla from Madagascar. It is made with vanilla flavoring, and vanilla flavoring is exactly the same chemical that is in vanilla. It's the chemical vanillin. It's the same chemical that exists in bourbon casks, which is why your whiskey or rum or whichever else tastes like vanilla. So the vanilla that we have in this is 100% natural. It's derived from fermentation. So it is not from the vanilla plant, but it's exactly the same chemical that you get. And I hate to break this to people, but chemical is natural, right? So for anybody who wants to like get upset about that, feel free to get upset about it, but it doesn't change the fact that chemical is natural, natural is chemical. So we use exactly the same natural vanillin that you will find in the vanillin plant, but it's just derived from fermentation rather than from the plant itself. So like you'll get from oak, vanillin from oak, exactly the same thing. So we have this in here. I'm just gonna put a few more ice cubes in there. But yeah, in the original vodka that was used in this drink, if you use like what's called bourbon vanilla or vanilla from Madagascar, which is phenomenal, by the way, it's delicious, but in drinks, it dies. Okay, like it doesn't last. It's not like baking. It's not like making cupcakes, where in a cupcake, it lasts. It's amazing. It's wonderful. In a drink, it dies. And so when it came to balancing this drink out, I tried, I think, 7 different varieties of natural vanilla flavoring. And this was the one that I settled on at the end. So again, I'm going to put that on there. And also the passion fruit concentrate in this is a organic passion fruit concentrate. It is a pain in the ass. I hate it. I hate it. All right. Because there is so much passion fruit pulp that is in there. And it takes me days to strain the passion fruit from the passion fruit pulp. And I genuinely hate this concentrate, but it makes a delicious drink. So therefore I love it. So if anyone wants to shake this, I know this is my daily thing, like just, yeah, give this a good shake again. So again, just same thing. Wait till it gets super cold. And then again, strain it out into your glass. So if you want to be a Pornstar Martini purist, then the thing to do with this is half a passion fruit on there, a touch of vanilla sugar in the passion fruit, and then a shot glass of some kind of sparkling wine on the side, preferably nothing sweet. It's got to be something dry, toasty. It's got to be some kind of brew, whether it be Cremant or a Cava or, you know, a well-made Prosecco or something.
Method from South Africa.
MCC, yeah, Method Cup Classic, delicious. So yeah, value for money, it's amazing actually. Like you can get a Graham Beck for what's it, 12 euros a bottle or something over here, and it's amazing. So yeah, so the other thing that was very important for us was if you use fresh passion fruit, you get a small foam layer on the top of the drink, all right? So if you look at Douglas's original photographs of the Pornstar Martini, there's a small foam layer on the top of the drink. And so we added just a tiny bit of that foaming agent from our the same foaming agent we use in the espresso martini. We added just a tiny bit of that to this as well, so that it replicates that character that you get from really fresh passion fruit, which is scooped out of the shell of the fruit itself. But yeah, so I'm gonna just have this as it is. But if you guys happen to have some stuff on the side, then go for it. So I'd be very interested to hear what people think of
to
it.
know Asha's opinion, but I think they left already. So
Oh.
Well, I like it. Yeah, but I would say personally, Mai Tai was my favorite.
Oh, good human. Yeah. Great choice.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
But I love it. It definitely looks like Monster Martini.
Thank you. And that's the thing is, you know, this, I think what people need to understand with this as well is it came out of a can.
Yeah.
You know, like all you had to do with this was open it, add ice and shake it. And you have a drink, which honestly, I really don't think that's a bad drink.
No. I would never expect.
no,
something
it's
like
not.
this from a
Absolutely
can.
not.
No,
I
no.
think that Asha was and Lukas, they were waiting for that one to come. So I let them.
You know, I was waiting for that because I usually make it for Asha, and basically I use vodka with before I use it, I don't buy vanilla vodka. I just buy vodka and vanilla and mix them and just let them stick together. And basically, to be honest, I was very surprised because in this one, even though that I use the actual vanilla and I put it in the vodka, I smell, not taste, but smell a lot more vanilla in this one than in my vodka.
It smells vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, vanilla ice cream, and you must use much better vanilla that I can buy here, or just basically different one.
No, it was really a case of just working with a whole bunch of different companies where we got samples from different companies, and I tested each sample with our drink, and there was some where it just died. There were others where it was too powerful. There was some which just tasted ridiculous. And so eventually I settled on this, and that whole vanilla ice cream thing that you mentioned, that's exactly what I went with, which is like, yeah, it's got that vanilla note to it. There's something nostalgic about this vanilla note that exists.
Yeah, old ice cream, old vanilla ice cream.
It's absolutely delicious, I must say.
Very good.
Really good.
Still Mai Tai, my favorite one.
Oh, like I'm right there with you. Right there with you.
Asha, please show yourself, because I'm like with Joe, and we are the only two women here. So come on.
Yeah, no, that's why it's tricky not to. I'm just listening to what you guys are saying because I don't have the whole I don't have the whole
my
lineup.
laptop, it's too heavy. But there's another one. Another one. See her. She's sleeping on the couch.
Oh.
Another red thread, but it's sleeping on the couch.
We have some troubles. We have some troubles with delivery to Great Britain because Joe is.
Jacob, what do you reckon about this one?
I think it's
just be honest. Just be honest.
from all of those six, it's one of the worst ones for me.
Fair play.
Okay.
The artificial flavor of vanilla, it's killing it for me, especially because all I sense is like the vanilla ice cream that I heard from Asha. Yeah, it's the strong flavor of vanilla. It's not the kind of cocktail for me. But then I think it's just a small can. You're making, you're trying to make something that a bartender could do on the bar in just a small can, and that's good a replica, but it's not the cocktail for me.
And 100%.
But in the terms of cocktail from a can to like really newbies and to like really amateurs of anything, do you reckon there is actually a right start for them to go further
I
and
would
go
tell
higher?
them to start with Mai Tai. Then maybe if they try something sour, then I propose to them the porn star. But I'm thinking about changing vanilla extract or making it. This time I'm making it a little bit more sweet.
More sweet than that.
Yes.
So that's where that's why I started off with the story I started off with, is because, like I said in the beginning, we had it more sweet than this. But what we noticed was that people weren't drinking it the way it's meant to be consumed. So we decided to try balance it up, because the complaint that we were getting from people was that it was too sweet. And then we said to people, how are you drinking it? And they said, well, we shake it and pour it into the glass and drink it. I'm like, so you're not drinking it with the passion fruit and the sparkling wine on the side? They're like, no, we don't do that at home.
Well, yeah, because they don't have it on the package. So maybe if you sell with the package like a shot of Prosecco or sparkling wine and one passion fruit, maybe they'll do it like that. But if you sell it just
Right,
like
my name
can.
is Andrew, not Rolls Royce. All right, like
not yet.
Well, like Jacob, do you still have in mind that these are the drinks from a can? Do you still have that in mind, or you just judging by the taste of it? Because that's a little bit different, right?
For me,
and
it's
we
just
separate those two things. These
taste.
two things that need to be,
I'm taking it to account that it's from a can, but at the same time, I'm thinking about what typical person that's come to the bar, for example, to the bar and tries it, could tell to me.
Yeah, and I fully respect that.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. That's very
You
nice.
know,
And
with this
I
drink, it
can understand
changes a
you
lot.
totally on the last one. So yeah.
With this drink, it changes a lot if you drink it with Prosecco in or on the side. And to be honest, I've been to many places.
Prosecco. No. Who said that? Who said that?
Okay.
Which one?
Dry
said
sparkling
that?
wine. Basically.
Łukasz, no.
Okay,
never
let's focus on dry sparkling wine.
If you can choose, no. Never. Prosecco is shite. Never go for Prosecco. If
so
you want,
let's just focus on dry sparkling wine, and depending on if you drink it with this inside or on the side, it changes. It's completely different drink for me, and this one, it's very difficult to present it how it should be done, because in my opinion, it should be done with dry sparkling wine. Marta, this is for you, on the side. So if you just pour it in, it changes things. So for me, I agree, Jakub, it's a bit overwhelming, this vanilla. As I said, it's way stronger than the one I used, but it's also for me too sweet. So, so as many people, you have as many opinions, I think.
Yeah, but in a way, I think that's really cool, because like, here's the thing, is that there's this massive split between I like it, I don't like it. It's from a can. I think nobody.
No, I like it. I'm just saying, for the canned drink, everything we have here, in my opinion, at least, well, it's on through the roof. Comparing to everything you can buy in Lidl.
Really surprising that you can make something.
Yeah, no, I think as well, this goes back to that whole thing of, the bar versus mass production. So when you're on the bar, you can make something with fresh vanilla and it'll taste great. But I promise you now, if you try to take that same fresh vanilla and make it last for months, it's shit.
Yeah.
It's really shit. And so
You don't
that's
do that. You just don't do that.
no, you can't do it. And so that's why when it comes to like everything we have in here is natural. All right. So I wouldn't be using organic passion fruits if it and then go and use some kind of unnatural vanilla thing. Every single thing that we have in here is natural, but the way in which it's derived is different. So our vanillin, and again, this is why I say earlier, like for people who don't think that chemical is natural or natural is chemical, they don't understand, nature, because everything in nature is chemical, right? So vanillin is the chemical that is responsible for the flavor of vanilla. So,
and you're going a little bit too far with that theory, but I understand where you're going from. Yeah.
I am more than prepared to be challenged on it.
You don't know what you're getting to. So
I do. Trust me, because I geek out on this on a level that most people, don't understand.
I understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. That people are thinking that everything is natural and biodynamic and whatever, and it's like blah, 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 and it's actually not. And it's not a big difference between this and the regular commercial ones, right? Because it's just but there's still difference. There's still a difference between what you're trying to pull out, which I do understand, but you cannot generalize. You cannot.
Let me kind of elaborate a bit more here. So you can so there's taste and there's flavor. Taste is sweet, sour, bitter, salt, umami, right? And yes, there are discussions about fats and CO2 and all the rest of it. But at the moment where we stand, taste is sweet, sour, bitter, salt, umami. Vanilla is a flavor, which is an aromatic. It is not a taste. Chocolate is an aromatic. Rose is an aromatic. Lavender is an aromatic. You don't taste lavender. Okay, like if you block your nose and you have lavender in front of you, you will never go, oh, that's lavender. You might go, oh, that's a bit bitter, because there are. Sorry.
Myself, I would do that. I mean, yeah, people can do that actually, and
No, so biologically you can't. And the reason you can't is because the cells that are responsible for picking up those aromatics, your factory epithelial, are directly linked to a part of your brain.
You are talking about the factory made things. But if you go to the field, if you go to the vegetable or fruit market, you can smell it. You can know that. You can feel the difference.
Exactly. You can smell it. Okay, so that is the difference between a flavor and a taste. You can smell banana, but if your nose is completely blocked, you won't taste banana. The only way you actually pick up the sensation of banana is a combination of that taste and that aromatic, right? And the aromatic is stronger in terms of recognition because the olfactory epithelial at the back of your palate are linked to the limbic part of your brain. So the limbic in your brain, and there is no closer point of contact between the limbic and the olfactory epithelial. So the limbic part of your brain is where you're going to associate these aromatics with memories. It's why somebody will say, oh, that perfume reminds me of an ex, or that smell reminds me of my grandmother, or whatever it might be. The limbic part of your brain,
it's in the brain, right? So the shortcut when you lose your sense of smell, when you lose the sense of smell, you don't taste it anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You do taste it.
Oh,
Just you taste sweet,
not the same.
bit of salty
Yeah.
malt, but you
Mhm.
don't pick up flavor or aroma.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so there's the big difference. Now, in terms of what you pick up, the chemicals are the chemicals. Caffeine is a chemical, whether that's in guarana or whether that's in coffee or whatever else, it is still caffeine. Ethanol is ethanol, whether that's in vodka or rum or whiskey or cognac, it is still ethanol. Vanillin is vanillin, whether that's in vanilla pod or oak or in whatever other form it comes in, it is still vanillin. And so when people talk about natural, I don't think people understand what natural is, because natural is any natural process. Fermentation is a natural process.
Yeah.
Okay? And fermentation can be yeast or bacteria derived. So there are multiple forms in which these chemicals that naturally occur can present themselves. And just because you are familiar with one type of that presentation, it doesn't mean that the others are not natural.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense totally. Yeah. Mhm.
If there are people who disagree.
No, I don't know. Are there?
Cheers to that.
Yeah, just that.
Okay,
Jacob, where do you work? I mean, which bar are you working?
Mostly in Łódź. So right now
Łódź.
it's the 5-star hotel Grand and Alembic, but not right now. But it's a story for next couple months.
Yeah,
But
okay.
are you going to
We'll
work
go
in
there.
Alembic or have you worked in Alembic?
I worked in Alembic for 6 months now, and right now Alembic is changing places, so I'm changing
Okay, I've
places
been
with
there
them.
half a year ago, so that's why I'm asking.
But totally, if I want to sum it up for Andrew, I was really skeptical about this. And actually, I signed up for a last minute because I was not interested before. But now, I think that my 3 favorites is the Grapefruit Cosmopolitan, for obvious reasons, which I told you before. Daiquiri is a really, really good one. And Piggy Club, it's really the essence. And the rest ones, it wasn't just not my palate. It was just too sweet. But it doesn't mean it was bad. Okay, I just can't put a mark on it because I just can't.
But
But
you know what I love about this is that everyone I speak to has a different top 3.
exactly. It's just your palate. It's just your taste. If you want something sweeter, if you want something sour, if you want something with more acidity or whatever. But I still think you did a great job. But it's like how many we had? Like 6 or 5?
Yeah.
6.
6. Okay, so it's like 3 top favorites, and I'm gonna really stick to it. And the rest is just not my palate. Okay, it's just too sweet. I'm more like a sour acids girl. I mean,
and that's awesome. You know, like here's the thing is that you know what you like, and
yeah,
but based on you knowing what you like, you found 3 drinks, 50%
yeah,
of the
yeah,
drinks now running you
50%,
like.
exactly. And that what is really actually cool about it is that I do understand your philosophy, and I do believe you because you've taught us, you took us through the process, and I do believe you, and it actually shows in the drink. It shows in the glass. which means that you are fucking honest. And that's the most important thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And the reason I appreciate that is because I'm really shit at lying. So I think my biggest problem is that I always when it comes to anything I do, I just tell people what I do.
Are you working at this moment with any bar, or you just too superstar to you just do the pop-ups?
No, I unfortunately I don't have time to work part-time in a bar at the moment. So I get to my warehouse early in the morning and I leave there as soon as I can, which is as soon as I can, might be 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it might be 10 o'clock in the evening.
Okay, too much information. So cut story short, where we can meet you?
Come
see you behind the bar.
Well, no, I'm not really behind the bar much anymore. Occasionally I'll jump behind the bar to do a guest shift.
Yeah, guest shifts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but if they want an old man with no hair to like shake up a drink or two, then I jump behind a bar and that's it. Trailer Happiness actually in London.
We will find you. We will find you, Andrew. We will find you.
Yes.
No, but to be really fair, I was really skeptical when I joined this tasting, and 50% out of 6 cans, 3 cans, it's really hard for me to say that it's a bad thing. It's not. Especially that I hate when people are saying that something in the can is wrong. Come on, it's not. It's just an easy way to do it. Same with wine, and the same with any kind of mixed drinks, right? So
the ultimate vessel for wine is a can.
Yeah.
Because there's no light penetration. When you open, so if you open a can that has 2 glasses worth in it, you're not ruining the rest of that wine.
Yeah.
Like it's a perfect oxygen-free environment if it's done properly. It's light-free. It's a lighter thing to transport. It's 100% recyclable. It takes less energy to recycle aluminium than it does to recycle glass. Everything about the can is better for wine than glass.
Yeah.
But
I agree. I agree.
People's perception that the best wines come in a bottle with a cork.
No, already we've done the cork legend. We're done with it. Well, we are done with it.
Yeah, but tell the people from Petrus that. So the perception is that the best wines come in a bottle with a cork, but the reality
they are not. No, they are not. Actually, they're not.
For wine is a can.
I think it's an interesting conversation, isn't it? Because what you've managed to create is such a kind of cool mix that if I was to go home and have this with my 2 housemates, the chances are that out of 6 of them, all 6 of them are going to be drunk, and there'll be different ones that we're all reaching for.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really cool, that there's something
Exactly,
in there, you know, out of all of us here, each of us have got our own preferences, but actually it doesn't sound like any of them are ones that people aren't fans of. They're just things that are slightly not so much towards our palates. And I think we've kind of already said that we're probably all a little bit more on the sour side. So actually, if you put this amongst a group of people who are in some of the bars that we've got in London, the minds would be bloody blown with some of the stuff that you've got there. And I think it's also really interesting, Andrew, that you've kind of put that bridge across with the shaking element as well. I think that's when you were talking before about having the cake mix, where you just had the water and then adding the egg element to it, kind of made it different from a consumer perspective. I think that's really interesting too, because I'm not a baker. I mean, I'm a vegetarian. All I do is salad. I got nothing else to do. And when you have something like that kind of gives you that bridge into being able to cook stuff, that's something that would kind of open up a new set of doors for me. And it's the same thing, I think, with these cocktails too. Once you're sticking your own ice in it and you're kind of feeling like you're actually contributing a bit towards creating what's actually going in your glass at the end, I think it's a really cool kind of way to develop something that's out of a can, but actually that you've kind of taken a bit more part in as well. And then your whole point around the kind of serving temperature, I think it's really cool. It's a really interesting concept. I'm super excited for it.
Thank you. I mean,
Joe, by the way, can I ask you, sorry, Andrew, but are you from the industry? Are you working in a bar or in?
No, I just go to bars. So I'm a rum nerd. I love rum, which is why some of these will be quite interesting for me, because I don't think I mean, there's times that I do order some of these, but by and large, if I'm at a bar, I'll skim the menu and narrow it down for rums and then narrow it down a little bit more. Which is why some of these will be quite interesting to try. I'm particularly interested in did you call it the Pegu Club? Am I saying that right? Pegu. Yeah, I think that would be really cool to try. Pegu. So yeah.
Although my friends from Myanmar say Pegu.
Pegu, okay. Add that on.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of chef friends over here from Myanmar, and they go, "You mean Pegu?" I'm like, "Yes,
now we know.
Guys, it's getting late. Okay, Asia and Łukasz, you there?
Hello.
Yeah,
we're here.
Which
yes.
was your favorite this evening?
I guess mine was my number one was Mai Tai, I would say.
Yeah, same here.
And the second one would be Cosmopolitan.
And the daiquiri for me.
And maybe the third one.
The one with the gin will be the third for me.
Yes.
Okay.
But to be honest, I already said that I love them all. Those are the 6 best ready to drink I had.
You can think about selling mixing sets. I mean, not only the set of for the same drinks, but the set of
I was
2 and 2 maybe.
I was looking, at your website, and I didn't see any mixed sets. I only seen the same in.
So we have our tasting pack, which is
I didn't see it.
Each can. But the problem we have with putting together loads of different mix packs is we need to be able to provide packaging for each one of those mix packs.
I get the logistics, especially with the almost air in the can, and it makes it more difficult.
And
it's more that if you put a mix pack together, if somebody orders 3 cans, we need packaging that can handle 3 cans. If somebody orders 2 cans, we need packaging that can order 2 cans.
Right. So it goes in 3. So it goes in 3. Yeah.
So that's why
some limitations. If you mix it, you can only buy 4 or multiple of it.
Yeah. So it just meant that, I mean, if we were to look at all the combinations that are possible and the boxes or the size of boxes and packaging that we would need to accommodate all of that, it would bankrupt us.
Can we order multiple we have like me, I have 3 favorite cans, and I want to order 6 cans of each of a thingy. So is it possible?
6 or 4?
You sell 4, yeah. It's 4 and 8, and you have to multiply by 4, I guess.
Yeah, as long as it's multiples of 4, then it'll be fine.
It's minimum 4. Come on,
Marta, you need order 12.
34. Or 34. Okay.
Remember, they last a year. You got a while. I mean, your whole year you could do that.
Yeah. Just to sum up, I really would like to thank you because I've never would expect something like this. So thank you very much. It was really great to be here.
That's a really awesome thing to hear. Thank
Okay,
you.
let's go to the next participant. Jacob, which one?
Jacob.
Jacob,
He's not here anymore.
you have 5 seconds.
He is.
So espresso martini. Just because I like more of the dry cocktails, and espresso with vodka, it's a natural combination for me.
Yeah.
Then Pegu maybe, and grapefruit cosmopolitan, because I really like the flavor of grapefruit. But as I told you, it's too intense. But at the same time, for me, it's perfect. When I think about serving to people, maybe a little bit too much intense. But yeah.
Can I just say that I fucking love the fact that we are talking about nuances of flavor profile in a canned cocktail. Like, bro, I fucking love this.
Nico, do you remember when I did a tasting in Adam's Club?
Yeah.
Month ago, around.
Yeah, that was the same time I told you that I fucking hate you.
Yeah. This was the same time, and I did Pegu Club.
Yeah, and I didn't quite like it.
Told me in that situation that I think I don't like it. You see? now you mentioned about it on the second place.
And where are you going with it? Yeah, well.
That he's done a good fucking job. That's what he meant.
Yes, exactly.
Well, even blind chicken, there goes golden seed or something like that.
I don't know what the rest of that was, but I heard blind chicken and I was like, I love this.
Okay.
You shouldn't.
The next on my screen is Joe, but Joe, I hope, like I wrote to you, I'm jealous about that you will try it after our meeting.
Yeah, and I'm super excited actually because the daiquiri, Andrew and you guys, well, Chris knows, I hold it like up at the top.
Yeah.
So from the palate of Andrew, for that to be up there, I'm super interested to see where all of these other drinks stack against it. And it's really interesting to hear that a couple of times people have said the Mai Tai is their favorite as well. That will be a really interesting one to try. I mean, obviously all the other non-rums as well, which is why for me it's an interesting one as well, because it's a bridge across into spirits that probably if I'm in a bar I wouldn't order in such a way. But now I know as well, you know, I've heard this whole thing about the porn star martini and how we have to have it, and it's definitely not prosecco. So, you know, now I know.
Jabba, where are you from? Where are you based right now?
London.
Oh, of course.
So, out of this group, Joe is probably the person that's had the most William George daiquiri.
Well, whereabouts in London? Whereabouts in London?
I think you could probably say that, Andrew, to be fair.
I mean, just the number I've served you in trailer alone.
Oh,
no, Joe, but whereabouts in London? Just
a place called Balham.
Oh, Balham. Okay.
Balham. Yeah. That's why we've got to get you back to trailer, Andrew. You know, you were talking about your guest ships. That's what I was thinking about.
I'm very happy to go back to trailer.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. Jarek, are you there? Show yourself. Jarek or Chris? Chris?
Sorry, I didn't unmute
All right,
myself.
you are here.
Speaking to you. So for
Before you say before you say something, Jarek is a guy. Listen to me. Jarek is a guy who loves whiskey a lot. More stronger whiskey, more powerful whiskey is better for him. And I love this guy. I really, really love this guy because he's open for other spirits, and I love to do with him kind of cheat. I don't know how to say it in English.
Trickery. He does it all the time.
Yes, exactly, yes. And he do that the same with me in whiskey. He loved that, and I love that, of course. And when I told him we will do some cocktails, he will do something different. That clear spirit. He told me, "Okay, I believe you, and if it's good, I'm in." And now I'm super curious what Jarek think about these cocktails, because he usually drinks clean spirits.
Yeah, it's usually neat for me indeed. Although maybe I'm becoming old, but yeah, I do appreciate cocktails more and more, to be very honest, especially room-based. So that's maybe that makes sense. But indeed, when Krzysztof told me about this, I think like 2 months ago, when we saw each other in Łódź, and he explained to me all the idea, and I was impressed with the design basically. So not only I haven't got an occasion to taste it yet, but the design with the the can and with the shaker, and he showed me it, so I was quite impressed. So indeed, it was really nice because it was something interesting, and thank you, Andrew, for this show today. It was also the storytelling you provided was really enjoyable. Thank you for that as well.
Thank you.
And I indeed, to be very honest, and perhaps because I'm not a heavy cocktail drinker, to be very honest, on a blind tasting, I wouldn't tell the difference. I guess so. Great job, in my opinion. Not all of them were to my tasting, but that's very personal because for instance, I don't drink coffee, so then you can imagine that one of those was not my favorite one. But
was it the Pegu Club? Was it the?
But then I would say Pegu Club was, I think, my favorite one today, which is surprising because I'm also not much of a gin drinker. Although I spent a couple of years and a good share of time in Belgium, so Genevieve is one of the drinks I've learned to drink as well. But I would say Pegu was number one for me, and then looking at the rest, I would say surprisingly also Grapefruit Cosmopolitan. I would agree with Ponston Martini, a little bit too much vanilla for me, indeed. But also Mai Tai, very nice. And the daiquiri, but the daiquiri was, I would say, something I expected, that it's going to be at least decent because I know your rum, so then I expected.
Thank you.
And on the other hand, the other one was surprising, right? Because I'm not a gin drinker or a cocktail drinker, so that was really nice. Thanks.
Thank you. That's really awesome. Thank you.
Krzysiu, Chris?
All of the drinks, all of the cocktails were excellent. I'm really surprised, but the number one for me was espresso martini, and the second place is exec for Mai Tai and grapefruit cosmopolitan.
Wow.
Great.
I'm very happy to hear that my 8 kilograms of coffee in a month.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
No, to be fair, I would like to have the grains of this coffee. Is it possible to have a grain?
The grains? Oh,
yeah.
No. So you know what? I've just made my first batch of coffee ground soap.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I love
the
the
skin, eh?
response. It's like, okay, fine. But no, I mean, so in the next batch, we could give you the grains. But
I
what do you
will know
think?
for free. So I would like to taste it in a different types of. Is it for the grinding or
Oh, right.
what's
So,
the best for that
so
coffee?
you want the coffee that is just ground and then sent to you.
No, the coffee that is in grains. You have the grains, and I can just do whatever I want. But the coffee is the best with what? You surely tasted. So how did you taste it, the coffee? I mean, it was green or it was.
But so, I'm confused by what you mean. So you want
She
to
means about grinding your seed
Yeah,
of
exactly.
I think
coffee
you mean
beans.
the
how
beans.
thick the
The
grind
beans.
is, or how big or
Yeah,
small the
how
grind is?
coarse it was to grind it, like what level of grindness or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Right. So I have a Melkonig grinder, which I have doctored to so the grind level on the grinder wasn't what I needed. So I have adjusted a Melkonig grinder to the precise grind that I need. I'm not going to say what that is.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. No, come on.
So we're trying to recreate the recipe.
Come
Don't be
on.
like that.
Oh, come on. We are just like, what, 9 people here? Come on.
You don't do that.
Yeah, I have taken a 8,000 euro coffee grinder and I have adjusted it.
Fuck off. Seriously?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Well, that shut us all up, didn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are going to be taking one of them apart in a hurry. So. I
Exactly.
mean, for me, I won't even be buying one. So
It was
Fair
pretty
play,
daunting
fair
when I
play.
did it. It was
good
Okay,
on you.
listen. I want to thank you. Thank you very, very, very much. Really, it was
Oh, he's keying us off.
the last tasting meeting in 2023.
we did it.
Yes.
Yay.
We survived.
And
Oh, that was brilliant, though.
to be
That was
honest,
really, really.
it was my one of favorite. Really, not because of cocktails, because of you guys, and
Aww.
really, really, really love that. And but it's late now. We have to finish. I hope we will meet next year for sure. I hope in some places with Joe, with Martha, Jacob, Chris, Jarek, and Andrew for sure. Expect us in Amsterdam.
Bye. Please come by. Like, it was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And I want to thank you, Andrew, for this project.
For patience.
It was really, really surprised me. Really, really. When I remember when I wrote a message to you before our final daiquiri competition meeting. And when you heard that your ram was on 5th place on 50 different really, really good rams to daiquiri, and you were of course surprised, but I was also surprised when you sent me after this meeting this package with your ShakaCan. there was 2 Mai Tais and 2 daiquiris.
Yeah.
I wasn't shocked, really. I told you already this, and this was my moment when I decided that I want to do a tasting with you, with this project, because it was really, really impressed for me. So you did a good job. Probably you know that, but I want to tell you again and again and again. And thank you for this one. And I hope and I wish you that you will be with your project in every country in Europe. I wish
Thank you.
because
And
If
also,
may I add, I'm not on a commission with Chris. Absolutely, I'm not. But still, most of us, we're really, as I've said before, we've been really skeptical about the products. It's like something in the can or whatever surprised me in a way. Do you know what I mean? And this is really something that with each can you throw us to the process and everything. And I think that people like you, I mean, the really hard-working bartenders, they do deserve that. And I really hope that it will make you loads of money because it's a really good quality. And I wish you all the best because this is really, really something. It's not for everything, it's not for my palate, which is understandable, right? But still, the quality, if I went to the bar and they pulled me like 3 drinks for daiquiri or I don't know, the Piggy Club, I wouldn't tell the difference. It's a really good quality of drinks, at least for the entry and like middle level up, which means that you know your shit and you know what you're doing and you believe in that. So fingers crossed that you're gonna smash the Europe at least. And hopefully you're gonna go through the ocean because the America is the place for that thing.
oh,
thank you. I really appreciate those kind words, and yeah, it's very difficult to kind of get people to understand what this journey has been. It's been incredibly hard, and it's been a level of learning that I certainly didn't kind of anticipate. The amount of science we've had to learn, and chemistry and physics and all the rest that we've had to learn in this process has been insane. And so to hear people saying that they like the drinks is phenomenal. And it's not a case of us trying to make every drink being something that every person is going to like. It's a case of us being as true as we can to
exactly
fun, but as true as we can to every drink. And like I said, we are doing our best to put the most accurate representation of every drink into a can, which is safe for a human being to consume for a year. And it's very, very difficult to do that. So the fact that you guys have said that at least 50% of the drinks that you've tried are delicious.
The palate, it's just a palate. It's not the quality. I'm not judging the quality. It's just my palate, right? Yeah. And not to say anything more. This is not a shite corporate chemical liquid that you put in a can. This is something that 2 or 3 guys are standing behind it. They had their philosophy. They took a time, the years to create this.
Yeah.
And that's what's important, because also behind the history, there is a quality in those glasses. And that's what's more important. And that's what's most important in your journey, Andrew. So fingers crossed, really.
Thank you. Will it do the fireworks thing?
Can you do that? Yeah, I don't have it.
Chris, push a button. Push a button, Chris.
Push a button.
Yes.
You used all possibilities already.
Damn it.
For one night. Guys, thank you very much, Andrew.
Besides, come on, people are saying that the cans are not good, but still they're buying us sodas in the cans for like everyday use on a daily basis. So why judging cocktails or wines or everything in a can? They should not.
Yeah.
I think what people need to realize is that the vessel is not the quality statement.
Exactly.
It's the content.
That the wines from South Africa are coming in the vessels, and they come in the bulks.
Yeah.
And they are being bottled in Europe, for example, right?
Yeah.
So the vessel is not important. The quality in the liquid is important.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay, guys. Once again, thank you very much. Andrew, we'll see each other. Yeah, thank you very much. It's late, and some of us, yeah, some of us, me for sure, I have to work tomorrow. Yeah, I have to. So thank you very much. If anyone, because my bus already gone, so I can come back here in 5 minutes. If anyone wants to stay, I'm here. But the main meeting.
Just stop recording at some point.
Yeah. We should stop, and we'll see next time. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
It was brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thanks.